All right, everybody. What's happening? What's the good word?
Indeed, said the audience.
Yeah, I don't know. But like yeah, everybody doing good? Let me try and get the fucking capture card thing up and running, and then we'll get right stuck way in. Ian, could you just talk real quick as well?
Hello, it's me, Ian Waffle.
Okay,
hello.
So you're very quiet. Okay, right. No, fair enough. Right, now let me... Okay, right, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this the fuck out, alright? I'm never ready for these things, you know. It's so weird, because I plugged in the Xbox, like, way after the fact. But, right, let's get video capture device. Alright, can people see it? Why can people not see my Xbox display? Dang old thing's plugged in. Let me... It's always... like, right? Like, I don't need to say it always happens. If you've been here before, you know... There we go! There's Toy Story 3, the game. I'll screen share for you as well, Ian, if you want, but, like,
If you'd like, sure.
There we go. Yeah, so I couldn't really, like... It's just been way too fucking warm to make a YouTube video today. So I was just sitting thinking, like, oh, what would I do a video on? And I was like, well, what's on your mind? And I was like, I want to talk about Toy Story. I like Toy Story. Toy Story is great. And I just, you know, I don't usually get an opportunity to talk about it. It doesn't perform particularly well on the channel, so I figured a live discussion kind of thing would probably be a good way to go. And, like, you'd also just mention that you'd seen Toy Story 5 yourself. This conversation will likely get a bit spoilery. So if you haven't seen Toy Story 5 yet, then, you know, please do wait until you've seen Toy Story 5. Before, like, you know, checking this out. You know, I'm not one to usually, like, tell viewers to fuck off, but, like, in this instance, I feel like it's warranted.
I'd recommend it. It's a very good movie.
And, like, right now, I'm just piddling around, the fucking toy box mode, because I figure I can just use that to keep my hands busy, to keep, like, you know, a visual on the screen for you guys and stuff, just to engage with. But, like, truth be told, I am probably just going to be wandering in various... Well, I did the mission, at least, you know, so, like, that's... Yeah. So, Ian, what's, like, your general kind of, like, history with, like, Toy Story, though? Like, what kind of significance does Toy Story as a franchise kind of have for you? Just to kind of, like, get our kind of, where we're from, you know?
Yeah, so I'm currently 29. So back in when it came out like 95, so I was born in 97. So yeah, so basically Toy Story, like, I mean, most kids growing up, I just had it on VHS or DVD or VHS, and I would just watch it over and over and over again. I loved those movies. I had this Buzz Lightyear action figure who had like a see-through purple kind of like suit or whatever, and I love that thing. I love making the wings pop out. So, like, obviously Toy Story did its job. It got me to buy all these crazy toys, and I was just always invested in the characters of the first movie and just how, like, weird it was. I remember as a kid also thinking I was really clever when he says, like, all right, Mr. Light Beer, prove it. And I was like, did he say
Yeah.
beer? Oh my God. You know, so that first movie really, like, I think set a lot of my sense of comedy and just sense of, like, absurdism, because that movie is very absurd, very weird, very not mean-spirited, but it has an edge to it that the rest of the movies don't really have.
No, it's one of the first things I always consider is, like, you got to think, like, the paradigm at the time. I'm going to put him in the Harley Quinn hat so he can be Daddy's little monster. There we go. So, one of the things I love about Toy Story is just looking at, like, the climate it came out, like, what Disney were kind of about. They were, like, the elegant princess movies with the sing-songs and the love and the true love's kiss and all that bollocks. And Toy Story comes along, and it's like, this is a film about two men who are fighting. They are very, very mad at each other. They can't fucking stand each other. And then they get kidnapped and sent to a place of horrors. There's something so beautiful about just that in 1995 that cannot be ignored.
Oh, like, yeah.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
Disney movies can often skew a bit more towards, like, I guess, the girly demographic, while, like, I think Pixar, especially like with Toy Story 1, immediately kind of set themselves up as kind of a more boyish alternative, which I appreciate. But also, like, obviously, like, Toy Story 5 has kind of opened things up a little bit as well. Like, you know, like, it's more of a Jesse-centric story, and I'm not against that by any means. Like, I thought that was a really nice decision. Made it harder to compare the movies, which is a good thing, because ideally, like, the less comparison you have between these things, you know, like, the more kind of merit each individual one has. But I'll say this. Toy Story 1 is the first film I ever remember watching. I think there was Toy Story 1 and Batman Returns. Like, okay, like, so you could argue that that might not be the world's most responsible parenting. I would argue it was pretty rad. But, like,
Indeed.
yeah, first film I ever saw in the cinema was Toy Story 2 as well. And I remember thinking how, like, rad that fucking film was. It was so cool. A tiki mask. Nice. Yeah, but, like, these movies naturally, you know, kind of wrote the playbook of, like, what compelling character is for me. Like, when I was young, this was kind of my first exposure to incredible characterization, great stories, great themes, without even really realizing it, because when you're, like, 5, it's just like, oh my god, Buzz Lightyear's flying and he's got Woody in his arms, and oh my god, it's so fucking romantic. Wait, that's not what a 5-year-old thinks, but, like, you're thinking about the spectacle when you're 5, and how fucking funny it is. Like, Toy Story 1... it's easy to forget with how, like, emotionally driven the sequels can be. How fucking funny Toy Story 1 is. Like, it's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also, yeah, like I said, it's the most edgy one as well, and it's even funnier when you look at the behind the scenes for that movie, and it's like, oh yeah, like we showed it to Disney, and they were like, Woody fucking sucks, he's an asshole, and we hate him. And then it's just funny that, like, the version we got was actually the tame version, that, because I remember as a kid not thinking like that Woody was that mean or whatever. You know, he's a bit of a jerk, but it's so funny even now looking at these later films and how, like, good-hearted he is and the rest of the cast, that it's like, no, Woody's like such a jerk in this movie.
He's damn near homicidal in the first fucking... I mean, I say damn,
he tries to effectively kill Buzz.
Yeah, he genuinely would kill Buzz if he could. And he's so fucking pissed off with him. But I think the thing that just makes Toy Story work so well is how well they were able to convey a pissed off man. Like, Woody is every pissed off man in that movie. Like,
the pettiness.
He's so fucking petty. And, like, how Buzz can kind of be a little bit catty in response, but he doesn't have that self-awareness because he's in toy mode and he's, like, ignorant. It's just, like, the characters across the board are so well done. Like, the general, like, little economy and subculture of Andy's room from the get-go, like Woody having these little town meetings and has, like, Etch-a-Sketch take the notes, is really fucking funny. And speaking of edgy, Jesus Christ, Bo Peep and Woody's relationship, calm the fuck down in Toy Story 1 and 2. They were fucking. They were absolutely, however toys do it, they were fucking. Like, how about I get someone else to watch the sheep tonight? And just the way this whole thing is acted is like an old Western movie with, like, you know, Bo Peep being like his little belle, you know. And it's just... I think one of my favorite bits as well is after the Strange Things montage, which in itself is an incredible scene because Strange Things is a great song. Probably my favorite song in the Toy Story franchise would be Strange Things. You've got the scene where Woody's in the box and the fucking shark gets up and goes, "Hey, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy."
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And Woody's like,
he goes, give me that.
It's so fucking funny. Like, and then, like, there's so many, like, characters that didn't really get any lines in Toy Story 1 that I care about enough to kind of miss them in the recent... Like, Rocky Gibraltar. Remember Rocky Gibraltar?
Oh, yeah. Rock, get the ramp.
Yeah, he's just a big dude, you know? He's just a big dude. And, you know, it's nice to see my own body type get represented in movies, you know? But, like, also just, like, he's...
Oh, of course.
He is kind of an icon. No, I just miss Rocky Gibraltar and RC. And, like, I think, Go on, sorry.
I was gonna say, with one, like, spoilers, one is my favorite easily, because it's just the most manic. But two, I just think it easily, I think it easily has the best finale, out of any of these movies. One, because of just how insanely fun the idea is of like, all right, Woody gets on the truck. And then, but Buzz gets attacked by the dog. Okay, so he kidnaps the RC, and they think he's killing RC. He's at it again!
Yeah, and then when he gets, like, Buzz's arm, because he's trying to make him wave, and they realize it's detached.
Yeah, all the stuff with that, but then you have the big race, and they have to murderer, no, and then the fact that they use like a ton of cartoon logic, where like they're spinning, like whenever he drops the RC controller, it bounces RC. Just so much like fun cartoon stuff. There's like great comedy with like the little girl looking out and seeing like the toys coming around the bend or whatever. And then obviously it just has, I would say, like one of the most iconic finales of any cartoon or like movie or whatever, where they fly, and that to me is the epitome of what I've learned to love about stories is just whimsy. And when I heard them explain that moment in terms of there was like a commentary or it was like a behind the scenes where they were like, obviously it just does not make any sense that they can fly. That makes no sense logically.
There's no aerodynamic to it. That's another thing I love about Toy Story is it doesn't get stuck in the weeds with its logic. It's just like, this is just what happened.
But even in universe, in the movie itself, this is what makes it magical. In the movie itself, Buzz can't fly. He tries to fly. Like he tries to earlier. He is a toy. That is something that is repeatedly brought up. And yet the whole point is that once Buzz finally finds himself and he's working together with Woody and they're able to get free, the movie itself, the narrative, the story, rewards our heroes with the ability to get home stronger than they ever were. And he literally flies and they bring back the falling with style. So like when it happens, it is a legitimate, like, this is something you can only do in a story, which is that you can bend reality to where you want the characters to fly. You want Buzz to fly. You want to feel that magic of like, holy shit, Buzz, you're flying. Just like Woody says. And he's like, oh, but I'm not actually flying. I'm just falling with style, which is a nice lampshade on the fact.
Like
it's like,
no,
this makes no sense. It's
he
awesome.
accepts that this is not something that he's not a space ranger, but he's fallen with style, and that's good enough. And the way the music swells,
and yet he's flying.
You think they're gonna die, and like Woody's like, "This is the part where we blow up." The music fucking swells, and it's just that is classic Hollywood. That is classic old school Hollywood shit right there. Like it's just
classic movie magic.
Also, just Pizza Planet being like the coolest fucking place you've ever seen as well, with the little alien heads that like spit out the drink and stuff. Like, of course this is going to capture a kid's imagination. You can understand fully why Andy loves this place. And I think that's the thing, is Toy Story 1 just has this flawless world building to it. Like, everything we understand about Pizza Planet, everything we understand about, like, these crane aliens, that Buzz is kind of this hot ticket item, while Woody's just this little old cowboy ragdoll and stuff like that. But, like, the fact that, Andy's favorite toy is one of great sentimental value. It's not just immediately Buzz out of the gate. Yeah, really fucking cool. The fact that Woody is having such a crisis. Woody in this film is such a fucking crash out that he gets roasted by an 8-ball. And I fucking love that.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all about I think I was talking to my buddy yesterday about the first movie, where he says like, what's the actual like real world message you can kind of take from it? And the message he took from it is that Toy Story 1 is about mortality. And the fact of like, I will no longer be, especially like 2 and 3 as well. It's like, I will no longer be like useful. I will have lost my place in the world, and then like I'll die. Like I won't have anything worth existing for.
It's kind of like the fear of redundancy, Like Woody's concerns are ones that a lot of adults face, but he handles it like a child in a way that a lot of adults can probably relate to, because a lot of us act like fucking children when we get jealous or feel threatened. Like, that is human nature. And Toy Story 1 so shamelessly, but also so exaggeratedly, taps into that in such a ridiculously fun way. That it's just, and also just the way the movie looks as well. Like, people will be quick to talk about how, the animation does show its age, but one thing that has to be said is Toy Story made such good use of, like, having toys as the character. You get these really unique character designs across the board. Just any frame with Buzz Lightyear and Woody in it looks cool, because it's a big green space ranger and a fucking cowboy, and like, look at these guys, they look great. Like, it's amazing.
They literally have plastic skin, so
yeah, but like, that was another ingenious way to kind of get around the limitations of kind of early CGI. Was like, hey, these guys look like plastic, let's make a fucking film about toys that come to life. That is creative ingenuity within limitation at its absolute finest.
Also, I'll just say, like, because I always reject the idea of like, it's like, oh yeah, you can tell it's age. It's like, okay, good. That means it fits the movie it's going for. Because for example,
it's a film from 1995. Like,
I don't think the humans in Toy Story have ever looked more distinct and interesting than they do in the first two movies. 3 and 4, they just look like, oh yeah, you like refined making like Pixar humans, cool. Like I don't like the only character I remember in like the later movies is like Bonnie. All the background characters, whatever. But like Sid, the mom, his sister, and Andy and stuff, like they're just like normal looking humans, but like because they look weird, they're memorable. So like it's literally just not even a problem. Like if you remade Toy Story, like visually or whatever, I would not want you to touch the humans because you will just objectively make them look worse in terms of the fact that you'll give them more fidelity, more detail, which is not what this movie wants. The movie is a cartoon, and it really leans into that because that's the technology they had at the time.
There's a really fun little limitation they had. I don't know why it was the case, but blinking just wasn't really a thing they could do. So you might notice in Toy Story 1, whenever the characters would need to blink, they would wink one eye and then wink the other. Basically, like it would never happen at the same time. I wouldn't want them changing things like that, because here's the thing. I love Toy Story 1 for what it is. Like, not for what it could be if we updated it today. It's a movie from 1995, and it has things that show that it's from 1995. Great. It's a movie from 1995. It's set in 1995. Fuck it. It's a 1995 movie. There's nothing wrong with a 1995 movie being just a fucking 1995 movie. And you know what? It still looks good. The reason it still looks good is because it has good cinematography, good character design. Like, I would wager that a film like Toy Story 1 still looks better than a film like Sing because of its character designs and art direction. Like, compare any of the characters in, say, Sing to Buzz Lightyear. You can't. None of them are even a fraction as iconic to look at as Buzz Lightyear, you know, like...
Yeah, the most you're gonna get out of Sing is if they're one of your favorite animals, and you're like, oh yeah, I love apes, so I love the ape character. But
yeah,
like, there's nothing
like
about
because there's nothing they are, but...
Yeah, there's nothing about that character of like... But, you know, with Woody, it's not that you would just be like, oh, well, I like cowboys. It's like, no, Woody has a distinct design, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all the Toy Story characters are immediately, like, recognizable. Like, there's also, like, the whole silhouette test, which they all pass. Like, they were incorporating little 2D principles into the character designs, and these things were considered long before, say, like, Spider-Verse really kind of revolutionized the let's put as much 2D appeal into 3D as we can kind of thing, which I'm also very grateful for. But I think the crazy thing about just Toy Story 1 as well is, like, this could have been... I mean, obviously it predates the, like, Avatar, right? James Cameron's Avatar, it predates it, but... I just want to throw this out there, because there's a similarity between James Cameron's Avatar and Toy Story in that both movies are lauded for revolutionary storytelling technology, right? Like, telling stories in ways that have never really been done to this extent before. But the difference between a film like Avatar and a difference between a film like Toy Story is that I want to rewatch Toy Story because its characters are resonant and its themes and story are resonant. Avatar is Blue Pocahontas. But Toy Story, they made an iconic movie that stands on its own, and, like, the amount of people that love this movie and probably don't even realize it was the first fully computer-animated feature film, like, it's crazy, because, like, its legacy is how good these fucking characters are, and, like, how good its sequels are as well.
Also, you gotta think, like, they're still making these, so, like, they're also expecting that kids are still watching the originals, which they are, you know?
Yeah, so. Rightly so. Like, I think every kid should get to grow up with Toy Story. Like, for fuck's sake, like, the idea that there are some kids out there whose, like, childhood movies are being defined by things like fucking Minions, like, is tragic to me. Like, it's not enriching, it doesn't offer anything to them. Like, it's just sugar. It's just fucking sugar. Like, Toy Story has sugar in spades. Toy Story could give you diabetes, but, like, it still has... there's still a really nice caramelized piece of meat under there, you know? Cooked to perfection.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the whole... I mean, it literally has, like, Mr. Potato Head. Go buy Mr. Potato Head. Oh, it's got Woody and Buzz. Like, go buy Woody and Buzz. And that's what... Again, that's the... Toy Story is another, like, perfect example of, like, you know, corporations are always evil. They always want your money. But it feels like, you know... We won't go too much of a tangent, but it feels like, you know, it used to be that they had to, like, I don't know, try to give you something...
Well, I think it's quite clear as well.
You want me to buy 1 billion Woody toys? Cool. Make Woody awesome and make him look cool and tell a good story, and then I'll buy 1 billion Woodies, and people will have to.
I think another thing that's quite clear to me, though, is, like, the difference between Disney and Pixar is, like, because it's quite funny. Toy Story 5 has been making waves lately for kind of how good it is and how, like, people are like, how are they still doing this? How is this still working? Oh, I gotta collect those cowbells. Right, my bad. Sorry, my attention's divided, so I'm fucking sucking at Toy Story 3 the game. I think the conversation's more important, though. But, like, so Disney recently, like, with all the beautiful buzz about Toy Story 5, they released a trailer for their upcoming film, Hexed, which features, like, a witch girl going to, like, a witch school kind of deal, you know. Kind of similar to the Owl House, I reckon, which I haven't seen, but I know that people this cactus fights back. Fucking hell. Okay, sorry. Yeah, like, and you know, like, the Disney thing is... So, Hexed has been getting rightly dragged on social media because it's another Disney production that uses center-focused framing. Do you know what that is, Ian?
Yes, I've seen this talked about, but you can explain it for the audience.
Okay, so, for the audience, I mean, I've talked about this a little bit myself in lots of videos, but, like, I hate this fucking thing. It is an affront. It is a fucking blight on art, in my opinion. But the idea that studios are mandating that movies be made to fit within mobile aspect ratios, and you look at Hex, and when I look at Disney, I see a studio that does not give a fuck. That just knows they can get away with anything and can just shart out these fucking products. And that's how you end up with crap like Wish or these live-action remakes. The folks at Pixar genuinely do give a shit. I think what is 100% happening here is that new Toy Story movies are being mandated by Disney, but boy are we fucking lucky to have Pixar in charge of actually making this, because these are the people that will sit down and carefully consider how we can keep this going forward and keep the quality intact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just even making the second one was a huge deal and a huge risk. The fact that they keep doing it is crazy.
It needs to be talked about how, like, fucking quotable Toy Story 1 is as well. Like, I don't know about now, but there was a time when I could pretty much quote that entire movie start to finish, because almost every line plays like an iconic line from, like, a Cohen brothers movie, like Fargo or The Big Lebowski or something. Like, all of these feel like classic cinema lines. You know, I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school is a personal favorite. Also, just Buzz's portrayal of, like, realizing he's not the person he thought he was, and how they perfectly juxtapose the tragedy and the humor with his Mrs. Nesbit breakdown is just absolutely a masterclass in dark comedy. Like, I'm running around aimlessly. I don't know where these fucking cowbells are or what Slink wants from me. I want to serve him because Slink has always been kind. Like, Slink is loyal. He's a dog after all, you know?
Yeah, he was sad when Woody decapitated Buzz and took his arm.
Oh, dude,
he was real heartbroken by it.
They pushed those expressions like crazy in that first film as well. Like, you see that there are times when, like, Woody in particular, his eyes will turn triangular. There's a bit where, like, Slinky is being stretched the fuck out while they're, like, trying to hang on to him to get back in the moving truck. And you can see his pupils, like, mega dilating and stuff. Every, like, Woody scream, all his, like, laughing faces that have gone on to become memes. My sister got me that action figure of Woody that has, like, the interchangeable face with the laughing face, where he just looks like he's... Yeah, it's so funny. It's such a funny thing they did. I want to play the main story. You know what? Like,
it feels like a movie that was really, like, consistently refined down to, like, what would be the best line or the best line read. Because I mean, just something as simple as "you are a toy." Like, okay, Woody, scream "you are a toy." I feel like nowadays it would be more like "you are a toy" or something like that. But it's like "you are a toy."
That's another thing I find kind of wonderful is, like, how you've got that teaser trailer for Toy Story 4 with Ducky and Bunny, and they're both doing the quotes, and you hear how, like, I think it's you hear how Ducky and Bunny are like, "you are a toy," and I was like, here's the thing. You can hear where Ducky kind of dialed it back a little bit. The thing about Woody's "you are a toy, is that it sustains an
screeching.
absolute 100% screech factor throughout the entire read. And that is absolutely incredible acting.
Well, even the you want the real Buzz Lightyear? You're an action figure. You are a child's
plaything. You are one sad, strange little man, and you have my it's and the fight between them as well. Underneath the car when they're just like beating each other up and like Buzz's head squeaks every time Woody lands a fucking punch on it.
Or like whenever Woody's going, no.
There's something so funny about just this Tom Hanks cowboy having this mental fucking breakdown. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Genuinely, like... Okay, so what, did I do the train mission? I'm pretty sure I did the train mission. Oh, Andy's house, right, okay. Oh yeah, Buzz looking alien as well. When he just fucking chokes, and he's so fucking melodramatic about it. I think that's the thing, is just the sheer intensity of the characters' emotions in Toy Story. How utterly erratic everyone is. So much fun to watch. Just an infectiously good time. Great to just get the gang around and just sit down and watch as well. Like, easily the most rewatchable Toy Story film. Partly because of its lower stakes as well. Like, it's not one that's gonna make you bawl your fucking eyes out. That's a nice detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and it also, you know, it has... I think, when I think of Toy Story and I think of, like... You know, I think of it, obviously I think of the characters. But when I think of, like... Toy Story in terms of like what it like an iconic moment, I will never ever forget, and I feel like it's underrated, even though it's like the greatest thing ever, which is them torturing Sid and saying, "So play nice."
I want to talk real quick about how
it's so horrifying.
Yeah, like how little empathy Toy Story 1 has compared to
Sid.
Like the sequels, where like I mean. Yeah, once you get, like, past Lotso, like, these characters become a lot more, like, sympathetic. I also noticed they become female when they become more sympathetic as well, which is just a coincidence. But I just find it so funny. Like, Gabby, for example, is a toy, and I think her story is very compelling and stuff like that. She was treated with a good deal of respect. Sid is a fucking misguided kid with a neglectful upbringing. And
they do not give a shit about him.
Traumatized.
Oh yeah. Poor kid became a dumpster man, which, you know, respectable job, but you know that's not what he wanted to do with his life. It's probably because of what it's probably
I don't know. I could have Sid down as someone that could probably enjoy that lifestyle. He seemed to be having fun, like when we saw him.
I like to think he's coping, you know, because he's traumatized for life.
Getting a job in this, I suppose it was 2010 at the time. He's probably lost the job by now, but like. You know, COVID hit. He is an essential worker, but the economy's a bitch, you know? I do want to talk a little bit about the toys that released with Toy Story 1 as well. Because I wasn't actually there when our family got, like, the Buzz Lightyear and the Woody and stuff. I don't think I'd actually been born yet. But they got one for, like, my sister, which naturally got, you know, kind of passed on to me and stuff like that. And we had those, like, Thinkway Toys ones. Did you ever have, like, a Buzz Lightyear or a Woody doll?
Yeah, like I said, I had the Buzz Lightyear with, it had, like, a purple see-through suit or whatever.
Yes, right, yes, you mentioned. So, the toys that released with Toy Story 1, and I think 2 as well by some extension, were not really at all accurate to the movie. Like, I think Thinkway Toys were quite a small company, and there were a lot of toy companies that were like, you want us to take the Toy Story license? You want us to make a fucking Buzz what year? Like, no, fuck off. And Thinkway Toys, just this little runt company, were like, no, we'll take it on. This could be a big profitable opportunity. Big Disney release, make Buzz Lightyear and Woody. But because, like, the license had been, you know, kind of shopped around so much, they only had very limited time and resources and budget to make these toys. So you end up with a Woody, who is actually pretty solid overall, but just with a few quite obviously cut corners, and a Buzz Lightyear with the most pathetic, stumpy fucking wings you've ever seen in your entire life. Yeah, okay, so Buzz can throw. Come here, Woody. Let's get a bullseye, shall we? Can I throw them up here? It's nice that they give you like a reference line. This is a really kind of well put together game.
Yeah, must be why they're remaking it.
The thing is,
I never even heard people like talk about this game, so I was surprised when it's like, oh yeah, it's like a cult classic, like Battle for Bikini Bottom.
It's a very straightforward remaster, I believe. So I just like a 60 FPS and like 4K thing. They include the Zerg gameplay, I'd imagine. So it's not like a full-on remake, but they're also like doing like little upscale versions of like there you go. That's where I need to throw Woody. They're doing like upscale versions of like Toy Story 1, the game, and Toy Story 2 as well, which makes me really happy. Because I think, like, these licensed games are kind of special. Like, a lot of us grew up with these things and loved these games. And for a lot of people, like, in the UK especially, actually, from what I've heard, like, grew up with, like, movie licensed tie-in games. Because, like, platformer mascots weren't your, like, household thing as such in the UK. Not to the same extent, anyway. Pretty sure Sega was more popular than Nintendo in the UK. For a time, anyway. But, like, yeah, so I had, stubby wing Buzz Lightyear and big banana grin Woody until one day something, a rookie error was made on, well, my mother's part and my own part, I guess. Yard sale. You grow older, and when you grow older, you start to kind of deny the things you previously enjoyed. Like, you kind of want to get away from, like, your Toy Story and your cartoons and stuff. So, Mother was like, hey, do you still want the Buzz Lightyear and Woody? I was like, nah, they could go off to the yard sale. Just let the pause speak for itself, to be honest, man. Like, at this point, like, it wasn't the call. Like... And, like, I know that my dad was like, you should have stopped him, and like, to, like, my mother. However, silver kind of lining, like, when Toy Story 3 came out, I was like, I really want, like, a Buzz Lightyear. Like, these things are just fucking sick, aren't they? And by then, you had, like, your Toy Story collection Buzz Lightyear, where, like, the wings are the correct size, and he looks perfect and stuff. And yeah, it's a sick toy. I've still got
nowadays you can get a perfect one, so...
Yeah, I've got, like, my Buzz Lightyear Woody. I've also got one from the Lightyear movie as well, which I got at, like, a Ross shop while I was in America for, like, $15. Like, so that was pretty productive trip, if you ask me. I feel like I need to... Wait, the ledge grab button is... right, that's how you... Ledge grab. Okay, right, ledge grab then. I don't know how to do this. This is a puzzling first fucking level, especially when attention's divided. Look at him merrily marching along. Naturally, I want to play as Buzz Lightyear as much as possible, because, like, who wouldn't want to play as Buzz Lightyear as much as possible? He's got reflection in the ground. I'm just noticing that. Can you see his reflection and how it moves? Like, that's a live reflection.
Hey, there you go. I think the PS3 often wanted to show off that kind of technology. I think it was on that.
Well, this is the Xbox 360.
Yeah, that generation, I guess, is what I mean.
Take this, Woody. Take this, Woody. Take this, Woody. Take this. After I just talked about what a great character he is, why am I doing this? Alright. What do I do? It's actually nice that there's a show me what to do. What the fuck? It just shows you.
That's awesome.
It doesn't eliminate the challenge, though. Like, you still have to actually practically do it. Alright, come here, Woody. Alright. So he needs to go up to the deck. He could just jump up there, though. Why not just jump? I could just make it up there myself. You don't think I can do it? Alright, so then I have to... This is a fucking parkour game. What are you talking about? Maybe gameplay wasn't the one for this. Shall we move on to Toy Story 2?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think first movie I ever saw in cinemas. And Toy Story 2, I think, is in a lot of ways maybe my favorite. I find it difficult to pick favorites with Toy Story. It feels kind of sacrilege to me. Like, it's like picking a favorite kid. This is the film franchise where my critical faculties can kind of just shut off. But I think that's because they're kind of allowed to, because I know that Toy Story's not going to insult me. You know, like, I'll be rewarded with a good time. It's when you could just trust a fucking film, you know, when you could trust a franchise.
Yeah, it's about trust. Yeah.
To not feel the need to scrutinize everything about it because it just works, you know. it showed me
because
what to do.
it gets the thing that what matters works, and then everything else, it's like anything else that could be seen as maybe it would have annoyed you or a problem becomes quirks of a thing that has such a good foundation. It becomes charming and good.
I mean, that is largely just how I operate when it comes to my feelings about like movies and stuff as well. Like, you know, I like the Snyder DC movies. They've got their lapses in logic for sure, definitely. But fuck it. Doesn't have to be airtight. But Toy Story 2 pretty much is airtight. Like, I would not know how to really say anything negative about Toy Story 2. It is kind of the perfect blockbuster in that, like, it has a lot more action than Toy Story 1. This is a very action-packed movie. Definitely the most action-packed Toy Story movie they've ever done. I mean, would you say so? Would you agree with that? Toy Story 2 is the most action-packed?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we literally have
there's like so many
a Star Wars fight in the middle of it. So.
Action set pieces. Like, while you do have the A plot with like Woody, and that's very introspective and very intimate. Toy Story 2 also has like the Buzz side of the story, which is just full of action. Like, you've got like them driving around the toy shop and the other Buzz Lightyears. You've got the battle with Zurg on the elevator shaft. You've got the use your head, I don't want to use my head moment. So many just
then
iconic
they also have to drive the
pieces.
car, and then they have to get to the airport, and then they have to get inside the airport, then they have to get to the plane, then they have to get off the plane. Like, it just keeps ramping up, you know?
Yeah, a finale for a Toy Story movie has never felt so kind of big. Like, even like 3, obviously, you've got, like, arguably the highest stakes with 3's finale. But, like, 2, just that whole bit where they're on the conveyor belts with the bags, and they're, like, climbing out of the different bags and having to find the prospector.
Oh, yeah, it's the amount of moving around they do. Yeah.
Absolutely genius filmmaking across the board. Just the whole way that scene is coordinated is no notes, immaculate. I even love how it looks as well. It looks just kind of oppressive in there, you know? Toy Story 2 did know how to kind of use its lower lighting and drearier locations to kind of, convey kind of getting away from Andy, you know? Like, you look at Al's room, and it's dark, and it's dingy, and it's kind of, like, Toy Story 2 is a less visually, like, I think it's, like, throughout less visually stimulating than 1, because 1 is just always frantic, silly energy. 2 has obviously a lot more intimate moments, and a lot more kind of darker, I guess, moments. But it's also a much more kind of mature movie than its predecessor, which I do appreciate. I also, as the immature little gremlin that I am, just fucking love Toy Story 1 for that reason. But, like, 2, I like how we expanded on, like, Woody as this collectible of a bygone era, like this black and white puppet show, and him realizing kind of how valuable he is beyond being a toy, and kind of how he almost turns his back on that. Like, is really, like, an interesting character study on Woody, and then how they juxtapose that with Jesse's story. And just saying, like, the When Somebody Loved Me scene for, like, a Pixar movie of that kind, and quite an action-centric movie, was quite ballsy. Like, there's easily, like, ways people could probably complain, oh, this could affect the pacing and stuff, but, like, no, it lets these moments breathe, despite being such a high-octane action blockbuster.
Well, also that it's a musical moment, that these movies aren't musicals. so I think that was what, because I remember watching, like, all the director's commentaries for all the Pixar movies back in the day, and I remember for that one, they were like, yeah, it was a huge risk, because I mean, this isn't a musical. So the idea of, like, I think they said they originally had a song planned, but then they were like, okay, but isn't this going to be, like, really corny and, like, take people out of the movie? And they're like, no, it's got to be here. Like, we got to take the risk. And obviously it pays off because, like, you know, especially with the newest movie, anytime they play the leitmotif of that song, because they never play the, you know, not to jump too far ahead, but they never play the lyrics.
They don't play You've Got a Friend in Me in the fifth one.
No. What I mean is they never play the lyrics of When She Loved Me in,
oh, right, yeah, no, they
movie.
Just use, yeah. They do the same with You've Got a Friend in Me as well.
Yeah, but the emotions of that song, because we have the lyrics, now anytime it does the da-da-da, it just naturally taps into that because they did give it lyrics and they did give it such an amazing thing. And again, it just really makes Jessie stand out and how she ties into both Woody and also Stinky Pete as a villain and all those things. And Bullseye's a very endearing character. Like you said, it's basically, it feels like, how do I put it? One is my favorite because it really aligns with, like, my tastes and, like, the absurdity and just kind of, like, how edgy it is and all that stuff. Whereas, like, 2 feels like the one that, like, you can, like, obviously you can show anyone any Toy Story, but 2 feels like the most like, oh yeah, this is a damn good movie, if that makes sense.
It's funny considering
it's refined everything,
It's funny what a shit show it was behind the scenes, because it feels almost effortless in just how kind of locked in it is from start to finish. Like, the film feels confident. Like, it feels like... Oh, Woody, you stupid bitch. it really feels very high energy. It's a more confident film than its predecessor, I would say. Not like like the predecessor wasn't a confident movie or anything, but like, like 2 is just so aggressively in its strides that it's kind of unfair. Like,
I think what 2 has is maybe the better way to put it. 2 feels like snappy, I guess, if that makes sense. And then 1 feels like tightly written around like it's like feelings, and then like 2 feels like it's like just a tightly written movie. Like all the themes and ideas really come into play. The comedy is like placed in really perfect sections, whereas like 1 is just like a vibe all the way through, and it's like it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's telling its story really well and effortlessly and all that. But again, 2 just feels like a really, like, when you think of like a good movie, you think of something like Toy Story 2. It just feels like a movie in that way.
Yeah,
it's a very ethereal
hits, everything satisfies, every character moment lands. Like,
well, everything escalates properly. Like, again, just the idea of like, how do you make a finale for this? It's like, okay, they're literally getting on the plane that's gonna literally, like, again, like, it's the highest stakes in terms of like the grandness of it, because it's gonna be like, it's gonna literally take Jessie to a different state. How are we gonna get her back at that point, right? So I think wasn't gonna take her to another continent. I forget.
Yeah, they were going to Japan.
Yeah, they're going to Japan, so like you're not getting Jessie back. So like the stakes have never been higher in terms of that, and yet it just feels so effortless. Also in how low stakes it is, of just like they just have to get off a plane, right? But because they're toys, it feels so grand and cool, and the fact that like Buzz comes in at the last second, it's like, oh yeah, Buzz has always got our back. He's coming to get us, which is his whole purpose in the movie, is to go after Woody, because Woody, for all the stuff he did for him and all that stuff. So it just culminates and builds and builds and builds, and then even the final scene or whatever, where it's like, okay, Woody, what are you going to do about the fact that, Andy might not, want you anymore, because what he's trying to do with that, I don't want to play with you anymore. And he's just like, well, you know what? No matter what, I still have Buzz Lightyear, and he's going to be my best friend forever, to infinity and beyond. And even then, I'm going to be here with Andy for as long as he needs me and as long as he wants me. So it gives
nice
like
to kind of touch on that idea as well, of like the toys being just as there for each other as, they are for their kid as well. Like the idea that, like, yes, Andy will grow up someday, but Buzz Lightyear is my.
But they have their own connections.
Was that sorry?
Yeah, but they have their own connections.
Yes, like they still matter to each other beyond their weird devotion to their kid. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's just a very well coordinated thing. Also, just dance party endings are really difficult to pull off. But when I look at the ending of Toy Story 2 and I just see Wheezy singing this. My favorite version of "You've Got a Friend in Me," bear in mind. Like, I loved Wheezy. I miss Wheezy. Another thing I will say about Toy Story 2, and why it probably stands as one of the best, in my opinion, is I think, like, I do really, obviously, like, love the new kind of trilogy that they're making. But 2 perfectly balances kind of Woody's focus and the other characters. Like, Rex, Mr. Potato Head, Ham, the whole gang are brought along for the ride with Buzz Lightyear. Nowadays, you just kind of have Buzz Lightyear just head off and maybe bring Woody with him if you're lucky. Like, and I kind of miss that. I liked that ensemble cast. And yeah, 2 absolutely nails that balance beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone feels integral. Like they all need to be there to like drive the car. They all have to be there to gang up on Stinky Pete. But then they still section off the characters when they need to.
Wait, shit, I get to play the Buzz video game from Toy Story 2? What? What? I actually get to do this? Oh my god. I've been waiting for this moment a while. What?
Also, speaking of that game, I always thought it was really cool that the like floating rocks or whatever, I remember from the director's commentary, they were like, oh yeah, this was like, we were trying to do something in like, for A Bug's Life, which I think was working on like similarly around the same time, maybe, or maybe it was like a leftover asset. But they were like, oh yeah, like there's that area where I think it's like one of the ant characters is like trying to dodge like the bird, and they're like in these little cracks. And they took that in, they had like a glitch or whatever where like the rocks are floating, and they were like, oh, let's reuse that for the Buzz Lightyear video game at the start.
This is the scariest gameplay style I've ever felt. I can't slow down. He's too fast.
Max speed sections.
It is literally. It feels really quick as well. I gotta say, this game's impressive. Like, this is a really fun game. Like, just everything is much more clear when you're paying attention, which is great. But, like, yeah, Toy Story 2 also opening up with the fucking Buzz Lightyear scene as well. Another brilliant piece of just world building for Buzz. And even down to the fact that we actually got to see Zurg in Toy Story 2 is another thing that makes it, for me, maybe one of the best ones. I say one of the best, yeah, one of the 5 best Toy Story movies. Is, just because, like, you know, seeing Buzz actually confront Zurg on an elevator shaft, Rex's whole thing of not being able to defeat him in the video game, but then defeating the toy version of him for real, is so good. That's so good. Rex even gets his own little arc there. Like, that is
that's what I mean, where everything just pays off. Like, it feels like, it's like, oh yeah, you had that set up. It has a effective payoff. That's, like, really funny and also engaging and interesting. And it's like, yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, the only thing that's a bit of an afterthought, I guess, is fixing Wheezy's squeaker, but even then, like... And Toy Story 2 absolutely still has the fucking edge as well, because, like, you've got the joke where, like, Jessie falls with style, basically. She does the really sick Buzz Lightyear thing, where she, like, jumps on the little car, goes... That's the thing as well. He's not flying, but it was so cool. Like, falling with style is also such a great fucking saying. Like... but, like, when Jessie does that, and then Buzz's wings fucking pop open. It's so utterly on the... Like, Jessie even, like, when Woody's like, Bo, not in front of Buzz, and then Bo's like, I want him to look. I'm like, this is a... What the fuck? Why can't I stop crashing into things? Like, if there was ever any doubt that those toys were somehow, like, swap-in padding, like... That confirms it.
Indeed.
2 also, I think, looks pretty good by today's standards. Like, I know that the animation does have a little age, but, like, you could release a film like this today, and, like, I suppose if Pixar released this today, you'd be like, ooh, that's a little below standard, but, like...
It's really just the humans.
Yeah, it's the humans, but also, like, there's definitely new tricks that they brought in post-Toy Story 4 that I think mark the Bonnie series as having, like, elevated animation. And I'll go into that in a little bit, because I really do have a lot to say about the visuals of Toy Story 4. Let's just say, like, there's so many, like, things in Toy Story 4 that will make a film student come. Like, it's just that kind of fucking movie. But...
And then, obviously, we can't forget the true legend, the true hero of the movie, Al, who, you know, he's got to drive all the way to work. I can't believe I have to drive all the way to work on a Saturday. All the way to... See how fucking quotable these things are, though. Like, these lines And
stay
I'm the
with
giant chicken!
I tell you what, though. Do you want to know a really cool piece of trivia? Right? This is great. So...
What's that?
Obviously, Al from Al's Toy Barn is voiced by Wayne Knight, who... I got a lot of love for Wayne Knight. Oh, no. I was timed. Oh no, I gotta do that again? This looks like a fucking barren... There is so much space. Why is there so much space? I guess lots of space is good for when you're dodging asteroids, maybe? This is a spectacle, though. Look at this. It's kind of crazy how kind of impressive this game looks. Like, wow. But okay, where was I? I mean, Pixar games are generally quite good. Like, I enjoyed the Incredibles game when I was a youngin'. Monsters, Inc. Scare Island was pretty fucking sweet. Wish there were a way to play that now. I guess you could probably emulate it. Anyway, naturally, I think people want us to talk about Toy Story 3. Because that does appear to be, like, the crowd favorite. Like, that is the one that kind of elicits the big cheers from people. Like, it's a film so good that it's crippled people's ability to enjoy any further sequels without panicking.
Indeed.
Which is funny, because I would say I still like 2 marginally just a little more than 3. Not by much, though. Like, these are still 10 out of 10 movies. Like, we're comparing 10 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned across the board. Toy Story 3's opening does not get talked about enough. With, like, the train scene and, like, evil Dr. Porkchop kind of hovering over. And, like, how, like, you know... We open with, like, we kind of, something that's kind of wonderful is, like, in Toy Story 1, you see Andy playing with the toys. And it's portrayed literally. Like, this is just a kid playing with his toys. The idea that now in 3, he can muster up this big magical world, like a Wild West and an evil Dr. Porkchop, it feels like Andy's imagination has grown with the toys here. It feels like we're actually seeing kind of the role they played. Something very satisfying about jumping on a rock and having it break, even though I'm scared.
Yeah, or even just like seeing what he sees. Yeah, it's really cool.
Like you get to actually get a little insight as to what these toys experience when they're being played with. Because it is kind of like, what are they experiencing here? They seem to, like, crave playtime. Yeah, let's not go there, sister. But, like, it's, yeah, the playtime scene at the start of the film is great. I also just love how you've got that little montage showing, like, Andy growing up and stuff like that. And you've got, like, You've Got a Friend in Me's playing, but then as soon as he says, our friendship will never die, the instrumental stops, and it just goes into, like, a reverb, and I'm like, oh, that is some brilliant audio storytelling there. That is some sensational use of music. Do I just have to shoot these little fishes? Doesn't seem to be doing much. Oh, I have to hold it. Wow, that's really cool. It's like I'm playing the Buzz Lightyear game that Rex was playing. This is so cool. So Toy Story 3, like, a lot of people will talk about, like, the many emotional beats of that movie, but I think the point where I realize that this movie's gonna be a fucking bummer is when he's like, is the gang all assembled? And he's like, this is the gang. And, like, Bo Peep is gone. Everyone's gone. And it's, like, it's kind of sad. Like, it's really bleak. And an interesting thing about, like, Toy Story 3 as well is, despite, like, Sunnyside having kind of the most colorful aesthetics of any location in a Toy Story movie since, I guess, Pizza Planet, it still has quite a somber look to Toy Story 3. Like, it's quite shadowy in parts. It's got quite high contrast.
It's a dark feeling movie, like, kind of, like, uncomfortable at times, I would say.
And, like, all the stuff when you're in the Sunnyside daycare prison, which, again, people only ever fucking talk about the ending of this movie, but all the stuff in the Sunnyside daycare, using Space Ranger Buzz as a moog for Lotso. And Lotso's, like, twist villain thing as well. Like, twist villains can kind of be a bit of a dime a dozen these days, but, like, I think Lotso was really well executed just because of how low he sunk. But also, like, yeah, just the whole prison stuff felt really oppressive. Like, I love how they use, like, lots of greens in, like, the atmosphere to make it feel almost like kind of a war zone. And then there's that, the whole thing of, like, Mr. Potato Head getting put in the box where there's feces. Like, wow.
Oh yeah. No, it really feels like they have to, like, work to get out. Like, I mean, it's a prison movie. That like that is what the movie is. Like,
and it took the prison break very seriously as well. It didn't, like, obviously it does it through a suitably PG approach, but, like, it's still, you can still feel like there's kind of, these characters are going through a lot here. Like, they
portray it as they're getting tortured. Like,
they're dealing with the existential threat is obviously, like, Andy growing up, but they're also just dealing with the fact that they're being mistreated and abused, and, like, it's a class warfare system that Lotso has set up. Like, there's a them and us thing with the rooms. They're getting scammed. That's really fucking devious. Lotso is easily the most despicable Toy Story villain of the bunch. Like, bar none. Like, Sid...
Stinky Pete feels more, like, pathetic. Like, you know, like, he's given up on life, and he's just going to drag you down with him. But it's not like, it doesn't feel as personal as Lotso, because we actually get to see that, you know? Lotso is hateful. He is vengeful and evil, you know? Not just, like, he's petty. Like he's the good kind of, like, obviously he does very specifically mean things to them. But, like, again, the moment where it's like he could stop the trash compactor, and he's like, nah, where's your fucking god now, kid?
Yeah, where's where's your kid now, Sheriff? Oh my god.
And
just the sheer hate in the voice performance there. Like, who voiced him again? Like, Lotso? Like, you can hear absolute venom in his voice. It was like, where's your kid now, Sheriff? I was like, wow. Like, it really does not get better than this. Like, as far as storytelling and villains go. Like,
well, I mean, the whole point of the, because again, we talked about the trash, everyone knows the trash compactor scene, but, like, the whole point, like, visually of the movie is that, like, they think they're going to toy heaven, but they're going to toy hell. And then they literally get, like, dragged into, like, garbage. And, like, even when they're in, like, the garbage scene or whatever, and Lotso, like, pulls Woody down and they're stuck in there, like, the garbage scenes where it's like, oh, they're gonna, like, get, like, cut to death, and so they have to like grab magnets so they can fly up into the sky, and then they like fall over here, and then like as far as they're concerned, the alien trio or whatever, they get like murdered immediately on as soon
like
as
they think they're dead.
Yeah, and then also they mention it in the like, we take it for granted because it's such a great moment, obviously. But they literally intentionally made it a Deus Ex Machina, that the literal hand of God comes down and saves them and pulls them out of hell.
What do you mean? There's so much religious parallel in Toy Story 3. Oh my god!
It's intentional. They said it. They were like, yeah, we wanted a literal God from the machine to come in and save our characters from hell. That's where they're going.
What a film. Like, see, this is the thing. I need to see these director's commentaries, man. Like, I need to see these. I don't know how I have. Yeah, but like,
because it is the most blatant Deus Ex Machina ever, which is just that a giant hand comes and pulls our heroes out of their worst state. They do nothing to earn this. It's not even like there's an emotional through line with the green aliens. It's just that obviously they're part of the crew and they're going to help us, right?
There's still a catharsis to it though, because those aliens have lived like slavishly for their claw, their sacred claw. Like,
oh yeah, so
which they've viewed as like a savior.
Still ties it into a joke, which is funny.
Yeah,
which is
it still ties it into a joke.
Story.
It pays off something from Toy Story 1 beautifully. Like, I would consider that to be, like, while it takes the form of a Deus Ex Machina, I struggle to call it a true Deus Ex Machina just for the fact that it set up these aliens fucking love claws, man. Like, and they got one. No,
it's a Deus Ex Machina in the sense of what a Deus Ex Machina. Like, again, people don't talk about stories correctly because they'll say like, oh, this trope is inherently bad. Well, no, like when people did Deus Ex Machinas in the like where it comes from, like the idea of like in a play, it was because in those plays the idea was that like these gods they worshipped, or the gods
it's like
they
a Greek
believed
goddess
in.
comes down and like puts away.
Yeah, a Greek, which is something they believed in. That was considered like a reward for the hero. Like
so it's kind of like the aliens
they
believe it, so therefore we can kind of enjoy it too. Like,
no, but yeah, I just want to. What I mean is like it's a Deus Ex Machina, like obviously, but like it's just well done. It's a good use of the trope. The reason people don't like Deus Ex Machinas is that they usually feel cheap because of the way they're handled and the way they're used, and we usually want our characters' own actions to be the consequences. But because our characters have worked hard, so hard, it's a miracle. It's literally a miracle for our heroes, and you believe in the miracle because you want them to survive, because ideally the movie has done its job to make you be like, something, please, anybody save them, please, something save them. And then when it happens, you're like, oh my gosh,
what else could actually save them? Like,
yeah, and so then you're like, oh, the aliens do it, yes, oh my gosh, the aliens, that kind of thing.
And it's good because you tend to think that they could just be these useless little kind of marketable minion characters, but here they actually came in with one of the most important saves of the movie. Like,
well, it's another thing where like the original Toy Story trilogy, or not the first one, but 2 and 3, very much feel like the other toys are a part of the ensemble cast. Yes. Where like even like
and
Barbie,
the aliens,
like Barbie,
even in 2, they drive the Pizza Planet van. Mr. Potato Head saves them, and they kind of develop like a "you saved our lives, we're eternally grateful" kind of complex. Like, well, these were wonderful little things to just have going on in the periphery.
Well, even Ken and Barbie are like really important in this movie, and like their connections to everything.
Ken being like a traitor and stuff like that. Like, I didn't see that coming at the time, like, which I probably should have.
Yeah, kind of. Well, and even just like, I mean, like Barbie literally is the one to deliver the non-subtle version of the theme, where she's like, the means of the few should not have to be dictated by the governed, or whatever the fuck she says. And then they're like, I have no clue what she's talking about.
I low-key kind of missed Barbie in the Toy Story 4 and 5, Like, she was actually a really good character in Toy Story 3.
No, she was fun, but, she got her own movie, so it's fine.
Yeah, and it's a great movie as well. Like, the Barbie movie's fucking brilliant.
I like kind of talking about it as if, like, that's the Toy Story Barbie.
You know what? Fuck it. Barbie is the 5th Toy Story movie. Toy Story 5 is the 6th. No, Barbie
well, I mean,
is technically
the same way that, like, Mr. Potato Head is a Toy Story character, even though he already existed.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know him more as a fucking Toy Story character than I ever did as a little guy, like...
Yeah, well, again, that's another way in which these movies is, like, cynically, if you want to look at it, it's like, yeah, go buy Mr. Potato Head. It's like, cool, but they made him a good character, so I want to buy him.
No!
Yeah, they made him a good character, so, yeah, Hasbro, I want to buy him. Or whoever owns him.
Mr. Potato Head. You can never get an accurate Mr. Potato Head, though. Like, never. Why can I not just grab that? They have never made one that works the way he does and has the same mechanics as in the movies, and it pisses me off because I just want that. Like,
Now, why doesn't he have an infinite butt space like in
Okay,
the
no,
blooper
I don't
reel?
mean like that, but what I mean is like, for example, like in the movies, he's got separate eyes, but on the toys, they're always together, and maybe I'd just like it to match the movie. I believe there's some kind of
Yeah.
law, though, that indicates that you can't make something an exact replica of something in a movie legally, which I'm not sure how true that is, but
That's
it would
fine.
explain
Probably.
why, like, even the most basic fucking rookie errors on those Thinkway toys would, like, why the fuck would Woody have a big toothy grin when he was shown to have a closed smile in the film, but, like, it's just the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Toy Story 3, I think, like you said, if anything, I think Toy Story 3 is the most, out of the original 3, it's the most underrated, because people understand the appeal of, like, 1 and 2, and I think 3 gets the effect of something like, we're not going to go into it, but, like, this is going to be a crazy comparison, but, like, anytime someone recommends, like, BoJack Horseman or whatever, they're always like, wow, it's so depressing, it's so sad, and it's like, BoJack Horseman is, like, a comedy for, like, 70% of it, like, a really funny one, like, a dark, like, satirical comedy, and the serious stuff is what adds to it, or whatever. Toy Story 3, I think everything gets boiled down to that last act with the incinerator and also Andy and them, that you forget the fact that, like, the rest of the movie is, like, amazing, too, and it, again, that, like you said, it's not that, like, the incinerator scene is the standout moment in terms of, like, wow, they really went there for that one scene. The whole movie is oppressive. It is dark. It feels like these characters are, like, at their lowest moments, and it feels like it feels oppressive to you. Like, you want them to escape, and it's like they're just toys. Like, they could get killed.
Because we love these characters so much, and they're also innocent. Like, these are, like, these aren't people. These are toys. These are innocent things designed to be just enjoyed by a kid, you know? Like, these are the most innocent thing you could possibly take and put in an incinerator. And it's why when I see, like, videos of people putting, like, a Buzz Lightyear under a hydraulic press, I'm like, I want to kind of fucking call the cops, man. And I don't even like the cops. But, like, you know, like...
A lot.
But, yeah, like, Toy Story 3 definitely wins out having, like, the best villain, the most high-intensity scenes, like, it's
a weird
that's
movie.
The thing
it feels like it feels like a nice combo of what two. Actually, I don't think it feels anything like 2. Honestly, I feel like it takes 1's absurdity and then cranks it up with, like, darkness, like actual genuine thriller tension darkness, and it's really
Big
fascinating.
Baby. Big Baby's fucking frightening. Maybe even more frightening than the fucking baby spider creature from Toy Story. I also just miss how creepy they used to get with the fucking toys, man. Like, my god. Like, we didn't have any any creepy ones in Toy Story 5. We had the creepy little guys in 4, but, like, we didn't have any in 5.
I'm trying to think. Is there a Pixar movie that's as, like, creepy and oppressive as 3? Now, obviously, the instant thing people would probably want to say is Incredibles, but I would disagree, because I think Incredibles, while it's dark, it feels very, like, again, it feels like more like the more you think about it, dark, not actually, like, oppressive, like depressing. Even the most depressing scene, which is when Mr. Incredible thinks that his family's gone.
His family been killed.
Yeah, that we know that's not true instantly, right?
Which
so
is just an insane thing to put in a family film, by the way.
Oh, no, but it just means that the movie is not going to let you sit in that emotion for too long, because then it's going to tell you, and that's more for Bob to feel and for you to feel bad for him and be like, wow, holy shit. But, like, Toy Story 3, you genuinely feel at every moment, if they fuck up this, like, getaway plan, like, Lotto's going to kill them. Like, that's what you feel, you know?
Also, I just want to say right now, everything we're saying here, everything we're saying in this discussion is why Illumination sucks butts. Like, is why those movies are fucking terrible. Because there should be this much to chew on any animated movie. Like, all movies should be treated with reverence, you know? Like,
well, again, and as we said with Toy Story 1, like, that one really doesn't have any of the super depth of 2, and it doesn't have any of, like, it's like, holy shit, like, when you think about it, it's like an allegory for God. You can just be fun, but, like, I don't know, be good at it, have any amount of, like, emotional maturity to what you're trying to do for children.
So here's where I think things start to become more polarizing, though. Because I feel like we've kind of touched on a lot of what made Toy Story 3 so special. I mean, like, the ending in itself is just a masterclass as well. In, like, you know, Andy, like, giving a farewell to each of the toys and, you know, paying them each a little tribute. I do want to talk about that. And I also want to mention the scores for these movies as well. Like, we did mention, like, I liked Strange Things, and we mentioned, like, When Somebody Loved Me. But, like, I will say, I also think Toy Story 2 has my favorite score of any Toy Story movie, because it gave Buzz and Woody leitmotifs of their very own that were only ever reprised in, I think, 4. And, like, they fit them. Like, they fit them really well. Like, when Buzz is flying through the air into, like, the video game bit, he's got this theme music playing. And, like, when Woody's having, like, his finest hour, he's got his own, like, Western theme music and stuff. And I wish we had more of that. Like, I loved that stuff.
Yeah.
But 3 obviously has incredible
Real quick, I also
too.
wanted to say that 2 and 3 also... Yeah, sorry. Real quick, I just want to say that these aren't problems with 2 and 3, but they become problems, very obvious ones for 4 and 5. But people kind of act like they created it. They've always been here, which is that after Toy Story 1, there is always a section of the movies where they go, "What do we do with Buzz?" And they delete him from the movie because they want to. So in the second movie, they have the alternate Buzz who takes Buzz out of the story, and then they have the little gag with Zurg and all that stuff, and the fake Buzz. And then in 3, they have Spanish Buzz. And
they do like to fuck around with Buzz, don't they?
Yeah, they're not problems in terms of those movies, because what they do is that when Buzz is, back in the spotlight, he is given, amazing stuff. He has great chemistry with Woody and all that stuff. So, like, they give you what you want, but they do struggle to know what to do with Buzz after the first movie, and they've never actually given him a real arc since then. And they always have that Act 2 problem where they're like, what the fuck do we do with Buzz? I don't know. Let's make him a foot soldier, because that would be really scary and cool. And then he's literally just out of Toy Story 3 until they get into the garbage. And then he's like,
yeah,
I'm
but
back.
The thing is also Villain Buzz is, like, everyone talks about Spanish Buzz. I fucking loved Villain Buzz. He was so, like... I mean, you just realize just kind of how cool Buzz Lightyear is when you make him a threat, and you realize, oh my god... Like, the other toys do not stand a chance against this beast of a toy that could just beat the fuck out of them. Like, I remember just, like, having these, like, fucking Pixar, like, drinks just in my flat, because I was just like, fuck it, you know what? I'm in my 20s at the time. I want a Buzz Lightyear drink. And it had, like, these little fact files on the back. And something that just took me aside was, like, you had, like, the Mr. Incredible fact file, and that was really cool. Like, but, like, with Buzz Lightyear, it was like, he's an expert martial artist, this, that, and the other, trained in the academy for this. I'm like... Oh my god, they really just don't do it like Buzz Lightyear, do they? He's so fucking cool. Like, which is kind of funny. Like, you don't know what to do with him. It's like, I will say, I think 5 might have had the best use of Buzz Lightyear since 2.
We'll get there.
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah.
We'll move on to, I guess, 4. Because things get very divisive here, and I know that we don't entirely agree on, like, the further Toy Story sequels, but neither of us are, like, ridiculous about it either. Like,
well, I mean, I would say, so, like, Toy Story 1 through 3 are, like, 10 out of 10 movies, and I think Toy Story 4 and 5 are, like, 8.5 or 9s, like, for me. So, like, to me, they're still great. And they're still, like, excellent movies, I would say. We'll go into the problems later. For now, I want to focus on the positives of these movies. Then we can talk about, like, the fundamental thing we talked about before we did this,
Okay.
But yeah, so for Toy Story 4, I think that movie is fucking awesome. I really genuinely, like, the amount of, like, backlash this movie gets is just very confusing to me, especially I think what you had mentioned, where it's like, it's a bad movie. It's like, you haven't seen a bad movie if you think Toy Story 4 is a bad movie. Come on. Like,
I also feel kind of gaslit, because at the time it came out, everyone was like, oh, phew, thank God it's good. And now, like, the entire conversation is just 180'd. But this always happens.
As well, I thought everyone agreed it was good.
Yeah, I thought all of us breathed a sigh of relief when Toy Story 4 came out and went, yeah, that was way better than expected. People still say, it's not necessary and stuff, and to each their own on that regard. I have my own opinions when it comes to the discussion of, like, the necessity of Toy Story. And my verdict is, we don't need movies, and it's part of what makes them special. So let's just fucking make more of them. But, I mean, as long as you've got a cool story to tell, and it services the characters, if you're telling a story that will treat the characters with the reverence that they deserve, then, as far as I'm concerned, make 100 Toy Stories. Fuck it. But, there were a lot of people that did value Toy Story 3's ending as kind of the ending of the franchise, and I can see why, because it is a brilliant ending, but I think people often also forget that finality has kind of never been built into any of Toy Story's endings. Like, I think there was always... I remember growing up, I was always saying, I want a Toy Story 3. And people would tell me, Toy Story 3 will be necessary. And lo and behold, Toy Story 3 comes out, and now Toy Story 4 is the one that's not necessary. There's got to be a right way to do it. Oh, shit! Okay, right. one color at a time, then I fuck this. Oh man, that's challenging. That's complex. Okay. Okay. Right.
Although I will say, I think with Toy Story 2 to 3, it was obviously you would have people saying like it's not necessary, but I think the heart of those complaints is always, what if they fuck it up, right?
Yes, yeah, because we're well overdue a bad Toy Story.
Yeah, that because like with 2, there's not really a way to emotionally fuck it up outside of just being purely incompetent of like, I don't know, Buzz is dead at the start of 3, and also like, I don't know, Woody is an alcoholic. Like there's like just things you would just never do. It's never gonna happen, right?
That is incredible how just raw dogging that challenge there was the way to go. But like, sorry, you were saying.
No, you're good. Yeah, so like just one of those things where it's like for Toy Story 3, I think it was always just about like, for example, from 1 to 2, it's just like, why would you make a sequel? Sequels are very ever good. Oh, that was actually great because you just told a good story. Okay, why would you make a 3? Do we really need a third one? And then they make it and it's like, oh, you actually tied it into everything and now you've made a trilogy story where we as the whole point of it, objectively, is that we as the audience are Andy. That was the idea they went it with, is that Andy has now grown up in the same way that the kids watching the movies have grown up. And so therefore this is his send-off to them in the same way that it's our send-off to them, right? We are also saying goodbye. And so I think that framing is why people hold so tightly to 3's ending, because it was very clearly intentional that, oh, what this is actually about is that we are Andy and we are saying goodbye to these toys.
Yeah, because he says the whole so long partner thing. And yeah, all well and good. I understand that
the
completely.
ending of the movie is that we are panning out from Bonnie's house. Like we are Andy going to college. You know?
I want to point one more thing out. Andy passed his toys on. We should do the same. As in, like, Bonnie, like, the Bonnie trilogy should happen because it gives a new generation a chance to have their own Toy Story movies. And, like, while I am, you know, obviously a big advocate for original characters and stuff, these characters are special too. Like, I would like them to stick around for as many children's childhoods as is ideally possible. Any movie that's trying to remind kids of why play matters is A-okay in my book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because that was... I mean, we'll talk about 5 in a bit, like, back to kind of 4. I think, like, as it was, I was really enjoying Toy Story 4, but there's one moment where things kind of changed for me, and where, like, the movie kind of became something a bit more, and it was in the bit after... Oh, no. After Woody has just botched up the Forky rescue mission, and everyone's all tattered, and everyone's telling Woody, stop, enough, you're done. And there's a point where, like, Bo is like, why do you have to do this so badly? And Woody responds, because it's the last thing I have left to do. And, like, for starters, Tom Hanks' delivery on that scene is incredible. You can hear absolute vulnerability in Woody at that moment. But also, I like the fact that Toy Story 4 is straight up confronting, yeah, where do we go next? Disney's mandated us another one. What do we do? What's Woody gonna do with himself now? And that's kind of what the movie is about, is like, hey, I've moved into this new house. Things aren't the same. Like, I don't have the same bond with Bonnie that I do with Andy. And I know that it's not the most flattering thing in the world, especially for Bonnie when these characters mean the world to us. I get that. We are the Andys, and it stings to see, you know, Bonnie forget about Woody and move it along, but she's a little girl. She's a 5-year-old girl. She found a cowboy on the floor one time. The second Jesse's in there, Woody's over. I'm just saying, that is just the way demographic coding generally works. And, like, I get that it makes sense, but I think there's beauty in this as well. There's beauty in the fact that Woody is able to accept, this is different. I can move on. I can take another step forward. And, like, that's the thing. I know, Ian, that, like, your kind of concern is overriding what we loved before, the themes that we loved before. But as far as I'm concerned, I think 4 is just the next step forward. Like, I don't think it walks anything back as far as Woody's development goes. And, like, yes, we do understand one thing about Woody across the movies, is that he's loyal. He's fiercely loyal. And in Toy Story 2, we see that loyalty kind of put to the test as Woody decides, yes, I will be there for Andy, regardless, no matter what. And that's a beautiful sentiment. But things change. People change, mindsets change, attitudes change. The circumstances with Andy are different from the circumstances with Bonnie. Andy wanted to take Woody to cowboy camp. Him not being played with anymore was just one of Woody's own irrational fears. But, like, you know, like, with Bonnie, she'd actively kind of forgotten about him. He actively didn't really matter. I love that whole scene where she's at the kindergarten, what's the word? I want to say inauguration, but that's not it. Initiation? Is that it? And Woody's just kind of like silently helping her through the day and stuff like that as she makes Forky. And I think that whole scene there is absolutely gorgeous. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the repair scene in Toy Story 2. Just wanted to quickly throw that out there. That scene needs to be talked about.
Oh yeah, that scene's great. Also, just the fact that they were like, all right, we need a character to like fix him, and we don't have time to like model a new character, and we don't want to.
We'll just use
the guy who. We'll just use the dude who played chess with himself in that one short, which is really
it's
funny.
Also a ridiculously satisfying scene to just watch. Like, it's a sensory experience, that scene.
Oh yeah,
but like,
I love that.
I love the scene.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, with Toy Story 4, what I think is an interesting switch, and this is why I like these movies, is that despite any problems I have are just more of like conceptual rather than the actual films themselves. Because what I really love about these movies is that they flip the existentialism, I think. I mean, obviously it's still there, but they flip the flavor of the existentialism, going from Woody as I guess like an individual himself, and he still is. But like, it's in the first 3 movies, it's more of like, I am Woody and I am tied to Andy, and that is my thing, and that's because I am Woody and I am his friend. Like, it's literally in the song, you got a friend in me. So the idea in previous Toy Story films was that the toys are your friends, and you're going to move on from Andy, who is your friend, but it doesn't matter because you still have Buzz Lightyear, who is your friend in the circumstances you do have as a toy, right? 4 and 5 make a very, very clear distinction that now the symbolism, if you will, is that the toys are representations of parents. Probably also the parents taking their kids to see the new Toy Story. So, and Woody, being the sole toy, is the representation of a parent, where he's like, I have to take Forky because he values, but just something as simple as like, this is literally the most parent-coded thing ever.
Yeah.
This is the most parent-coded thing ever, which is like, you want to be with your kid on like their first day of school, and you want to make sure like, oh, hey, go talk to that kid, or like, oh no, they're not doing well. Oh, well, do you remember you have something in your bag? You know, that kind of thing. Like, that's the most like parent thing ever that someone want to do, and that's what Woody's doing. I'm gonna go with her on the first day to school, and I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna help her make a friend. I'm gonna help her, be creative and things like that. Very parent-coded. That's the whole point of him as a character. And so what I really enjoy about that is the idea of like, okay, if Woody is parent-coded now, then the idea of him moving on, and like even moving on from Buzz, which again is a thing that people don't really enjoy, moving on from Buzz and settling down with Bo Peep or whatever, that makes more sense if you understand these movies again as like a new generation of like, Woody is now a parent. He is supposed to be an old man who no longer is needed in a child's life, or in this case you could almost see Bonnie as like his grandchild or whatever, however that worked toy wise. And so the lessons he learns, I think, are very powerful, and then how those relate to being a toy, and also kids going on to new generations or just new things they enjoy, especially in Toy Story 5, I think is really well done. I really love all that stuff. So just wanted to put that out there, because I do think that is a core thing that people don't really give these movies credit for, is the way in which they make it very clear the way they have recontextualized what being a toy means, which is that now you're a parent, I guess.
Oh, so did you see that? Just what a well-designed little bit of platformer gameplay there. Like, just this little tube with these electric thingies, and then you have to like kind of get the right way around. Like, that's really... Oh no! I don't even know what I walked on. Okay, all right. Well, back to what I was... Oh no, I gotta do this bit again, have I?
But yeah, sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I've probably interrupted you like a dozen more times. But
you're good.
Yeah, no. So one of the things that's kind of, I guess, controversial about this movie is Buzz, because I think Toy Story 4 is one instance where, like, I think a lot of people are generally in agreement that this wasn't Buzz's finest moment. But at the same time, I can still find ways to kind of rationalize and defend it. But I can see why people might think it's a bit strange. Because, like, yeah, Buzz is now believing that his voice chip is a form of inner voice that he can kind of consult for guidance and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's a brain dead concept. Like, it's like whoa.
It is, but like, I also don't think it is completely outside the realm of just good storytelling, really, that Buzz might explore new ways of doing things. I don't know, like, in a way it's like looking inward, something I can relate to is like, I have a lot of challenges in life and stuff, and there are times when you need to look inward, and you find yourself trusting notions that you might not have trusted before or needed to trust before. Buzz has been
it's just the fact that he genuinely believes it. Like, that's the part that makes it like
yes.
cringe.
Yeah.
Is that he's like they'll be like in the car and like the humans are there and he's like, inner voice, tell me what to do. Oh shit.
Like, he knows. We've established by now that Buzz does know what reality is, and he'll be like, oh, there's an asteroid shower, and then he looks up and he sees like Woody falling and stuff. Like, oh, that must be that. I thought there were nice ways of like building little parallels in between Buzz's decision-making process and just the technology that builds the toy. I think that's actually quite a decent little concept. It's just, it's not built on enough, and it is generally just used to make Buzz kind of a, oh, isn't he a lovable little silly goober? And I get that. I think it works. But I will say, once you get to the third act, that is where Buzz comes into his own. Like, once he's one of the ones talking down Woody and saying, it's okay, you can move on. I thought that was great. And I don't necessarily see Woody, like, leaving, like, Forky and Bonnie and stuff as, like, a father abandoning his kid. I think in those instances, he's kind of considering, where is he at? Is he kind of a father? Is he doing this again, or is he done? And I think it's kind of nice that in the end, he retires, really. Like, when you think about it, he retires.
Well, in that case, that's where the symbolism then turns to, like, okay, as a toy, if it's representing, like, parenthood, then it's the idea of, like, letting your kid, like, go and experience things if they don't need you anymore, right?
Sure, and that's like a thematic purpose,
five
right?
really leans into that in, like, an amazing way. That's why I really like 5.
It's what these characters' purpose originally once was and stuff. Like, I understand a lot of, like, those kind of critiques and stuff towards, like, Woody moving on and stuff like that are like, this wasn't Woody's purpose. We'd established that Woody's purpose was to be there for a child. But to that same end, I say, intrinsically, thematically speaking, Toy Story 4 is all about finding a new purpose. After you're kind of done, you know? And
yes, but that is, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it cheapens the ending of Toy Story 3 that Woody moved on afterwards. I think it just tells us he's at another stage in his life. This chapter was a little shorter than he thought it would be, and that's okay. There's beauty in that. He's now with Bo. He's in a, if anything, happier position. He's a man now, Woody, like in Toy Story 4. Like, we've seen him crash out like a fucking infant over the idea of Andy liking Buzz more than him. Now he's at a point where he's willing to swallow his pride over a fucking fork. Like, he's grown up, and he's retiring, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of like new purpose, you know?
Yeah, it's just a matter of if you wanted them to retain the purpose they ended on, which is that, yeah, like, who knows what happens to them, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, hopefully they'll be happy. But it's a matter
just,
of
as
now.
As far as I'm concerned, the integrity of those 3 movies is absolutely in place. Like, if I want Woody to have the same purpose he has in Toy Story 3, I'll watch Toy Story 3. You know? Like, as long as he's still the slightly neurotic cowboy. I say slightly. As long as he's still that incredibly neurotic cowboy, then as far as I'm concerned, that's my Woody. His fucking... Yeah, like, I think it's nice that these guys get to have new stories, and some of those are with Bunny, and some of those aren't. It means that it's not the tidiest little bow in the world, and we get kind of a bigger world out of it as well, you know, knowing that there are toys out there whose purpose is to hook a brother up, you know? Like, it's...
Indeed.
Ducky and Bunny were also fun. I enjoyed the side cast of Toy Story 4 quite a lot. Loved Gabby's whole story as well, with her not having the voice box and her kind of blaming that for her misfortune and kind of realizing that it wasn't really the voice box she needed. She needed the right kid. But, like, Woody was still willing to make that sacrifice just to prove that point to her. I thought it was a deeply mature moment for Woody. And I love how, like, Gabby is even bringing up directly to Woody, all those times you had with Andy, and then have a second chance and stuff. Like, this is such a resonant little coda to that Toy Story 3 story.
Oh yeah, that Gabby is the thing that I think makes the movie, which is that, like, to me, the scene where she, like, they're leaving, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll go to Bonnie, right? We'll pass all the toys on to Bonnie. And then she sees the little girl who's lost, and wants to help her. To me, that is the, like, it's like, okay, that right there is, like, the heart of the movie, and, like, what I think resonates so much. Again, with also with the idea of, like, being a parent and things like that, which is, like, you know, this toy needs to be there for that kid.
I don't love Toy Story 4 any less than the others. Again, as I've said before, 10 out of 10s to 10 out of 10s. But what I will say is it does probably have my biggest criticism of any of the Toy Story movies. And it's that I think the Buzz inner voice thing does get more egregious when you consider potential parallels they could have had between Buzz and Duke Kaboom. Because Duke Kaboom's whole thing was he's meant to kind of soar. He's meant to do this incredible stunt. He's got this idea of what he's supposed to be. Why can't I just why can't I just move the dialogue at my own pace? Why does it have to be on screen for a set amount of seconds? What was I saying?
Oh, yeah.
Lots so shut. I just want to go. I'm sure it's self-explanatory. What was I saying? What was I fucking saying?
Duke Kaboom and a parallel to Buzz.
Duke Kaboom and Buzz, yes. Because, yeah, Duke Kaboom is, like, you know, he's got a dysfunction. He's got something he wants to overcome. And you've got that bit where he does soar across the sky and stuff like that. I think Buzz could have related to that. I think Buzz could have factored into that story really well in that he wanted to fly. He fell with style.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, that is where that's where I'm a little confused by, I guess, you saying you like them all equally, where it's like, yeah, Toy Story 1 through 3, it's like, man, they just nail all the characters. Toy Story 4, man, Buzz sure doesn't really get anything, but you know what? It's still as good as the rest. I would like an elaboration.
The reason being is the strengths with Woody's story are more than strong enough to make up for it.
Even with the lack of an ensemble cast as well, because they all get shafted, so.
Yeah, I liked Woody's story, I like Bo's story, I like the new cast we've got. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if I want to see loads of those guys in action, I still have Toy Story 1 and 2 and 3. Like,
yeah, and again, so that's where I wanted to bring up is that I think that is probably the disconnect a lot of people have, which is that Toy Story wasn't just like, oh, well, which character in Toy Story do we want to focus on? It's like, well, Toy Story is the cast of Toy Story. It is like everyone doing something, coming together, having a grand adventure. And it's like, well, now it's about a single character, which I think is really cool. I really like that, especially.
Yeah, and
especially
to that, I would also say if this new trilogy or this new series of films were just like the old ones, there'd be even less fucking point. If you want to call them unnecessary now, if they were just if Woody stuck with Bonnie and they kept that story and they kept all of those themes exactly as you like them, it would just be more of the same. And you can make the point of saying, well, then why not just make any more movies? And to that, I'd say, Toy Story 4 was fucking worth making. It's good. I'm glad it exists. Like,
well, and like we had talked about, it's like, well, it does exist, so is it any good, right? It's
yeah,
like,
you
well,
can bellyache all you want
if,
about should they keep making these movies. The answer is they do. And they clearly have people that care about quality working on these things. And for as long as those people are still employed, I'm happy. Like...
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I understand, because I have a friend who he basically, he just doesn't like these movies on principle because he's like they could be fairly good movies, but I will never enjoy them because again, what I enjoyed was the sanctity of 1 through 3 being a complete story and the themes it wanted to tell. If you add anything to it,
here's the thing I say to that. There's the we're all Andy thing. There's that sentiment. We are all Andy. In that case, be Andy then. If you really want the sacred 3 movies, you don't have to engage with the Bonnie trilogy. I just think it's nice that a new generation of Bonnies...
So.
Like, us Andys don't have to hog this all up for ourselves. We've got a generation of Bonnies that are enjoying these new movies. And as it stands, I'm part of the Andy generation. Fine, I'm an Andy. And I like these movies, because I like these guys. I want to stick with them. I'd like to think, Andy would probably watch these movies and take a little comfort in them to an extent. He'd probably be like, Bonnie, what are you doing? But he'd also be like, I get it, you're 5. Like, maybe giving my toys to a 5-year-old was my mistake.
Oh, I'd also like to know, what do you think of the idea of, we talked about it at the end of Toy Story 2. The whole idea is like, you know what? Even if we separate from Andy, which happened, no matter what, you'll have me, Buzz Lightyear, your best friend. What do you think of that kind of idea in the sense of, obviously they do keep in contact in 5, which is why I think it's not really a problem, which is that it's not that Woody left the state or some shit. Like, he still keeps in contact with Woody and Buzz and they can hang out and stuff. Even if they haven't seen each other in a little bit, like they could just talk, they could just hang out, they can just come back. They have a fucking car, a skunk mobile or whatever. So that I don't think is a problem, but I do think this is another example to where it's like, well, there's no way I could ever say these are as good as 1 through 3 because, okay, if that is the case, if this is the movie where Woody and Buzz are going to separate, sure would have been great if Buzz was in the movie. It should have been great if he was, doing anything important to Woody's story instead of being like, wow, where's fucking Woody?
But Buzz literally did. He was one of the people trying to bring Woody back down to Earth, but also he was the one to tell him, Bonnie's gonna be fine, go. He was
no.
going to come back.
If that's your endpoint, that should be a big heart of your movie. Instead, it's a point in the movie. It's like a crescendo moment of like, you know who could really make this sell this though? Is Buzz. Where it's like, but if you're going to separate Buzz and Woody, shouldn't that be part of the heart of the movie, is that they're separating? Instead, Buzz is pretty cool with it. He's just like, you know what? That's fine, Woody. Like, I believe in you, buddy.
Well,
don't you think that should have been focused on more?
I
if
think
that's going to be
Toy Story 4 has a very kind of life happens mentality, and I know it's something that you've called unflattering. I think it's beautiful. Like, just like, I don't know, like that. I'm getting brain fog for a second because I'm working out what the fuck I'm supposed to do here now.
No, you're good.
Can you bring me up to speed a little bit?
No, my thing was just more of it. If you resonate with that theme from 2 of like, yeah, like Buzz and Woody are a duo.
Oh, okay.
Then
so are you asking
isn't it
me,
sort of
doesn't
it sort of downplay it that it's just?
Is
yeah,
it not reasonable to kind of resent them changing that?
Well, isn't it reasonable to resent them for not giving it any amount of respect and just being like, you know what, life happens, Woody. Like, fuck it, you can go off.
And I really don't think it is respectless, though. In 1999, that was the answer. In 2019, it's not.
Well, shouldn't we see that change, though? Don't you think, in the movie? Or should it just be like, they figured it out?
No, but we did see it change. We saw that Woody was unhappy. We saw that he wasn't being played with. We saw that he.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Buzz. I'm talking about the Buzz part, though. Like Buzz and Woody.
I mean, Buzz sees like him and Bonnie. He's very not Bonnie, Bo Peep for fuck's sake. He's very perceptive to that. Like,
yeah, but don't you think that should have been given time rather than him being like, "What's my interval?"
Are you saying that maybe Buzz should have been like, "Hey, Woody, let's talk about this. Should you go?"
I think he should have been in the story, is what I'm saying.
I think if you do that, you lampshade that. What I meant when I kind of said about the life happens thing is that Woody did not think he was going to fucking leave Bonnie that day. Like, he did not know going to the Grand Basin that this was going to be closure. But he was with Bo. He was happy with Bo and stuff. Like, and there was a time when he even considered leaving Andy for Bo, which people act like is the death knell of Woody's character and completely forget what he was willing to do in Toy Story 2. Like...
Well, I mean, yeah, he was about to abandon Andy in that movie, you know?
Yeah, the thing is, in Toy Story 3, Woody is very motivated by 2 things, duty and love, and in the end, he chooses love over duty. And I think that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, him having that moment of weakness, like, it's like... Well,
I think the fact that also Buzz was the person to do that. But another thing worth noting is that Toy Story 4's ending, its final act, is very urgent. They're trying to go. Like, Bonnie's family are trying to leave, and they're having to find the ways to keep this RV in place. It's not exactly perfect time for Buzz and Woody to have a little sit down and say,
"Oh yeah, but you're treating it like it's reality. It's not. It's a movie." So they could make a movie.
Because I know that. Listen. I'll be the first person to say thematic cohesion matters. But as far as I'm concerned, Toy Story 4 has themes of its own, which it perfectly nails. And I think they have continuance from those previous themes. I don't think the fact that Woody leaves Buzz in Toy Story 4 negates the fact that he's stuck with Buzz in 1999. Like, it's a different decade. It's a different time. It's a different set of circumstances. And it's a different set of solutions. I like the idea that, like, these Toy Stories are their own little things. You know, each movie has different sets of needs and priorities. And yes, 1 through 3 were quite consistent with the theming. But then if you're just going to keep consistent theming, there's no point in making more ones. But to that,
in which case, those people would say, yeah, don't make more. But they do exist.
But I would say make more, because Andy passed the toys on. Just because we're Andy and we left, that doesn't mean the toys cease to exist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's fine. Well, and also, that's the thing where it's like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, because otherwise it's just going to be being like, okay, well, yeah, I like it. Who fucking cares? But I do think they're interesting thing to talk about, which is that... I think
people also often conflate, like, rhyming theming with, like, perfect, like, theming or thematic cohesion and stuff. Like, because there's a lot, like, where people want to rhyme. I've seen, you know, there's a thing come out recently that there's a deleted scene from Toy Story 3. One thing they planned much earlier in production was to have Jessie reunited with Emily, and Emily's a grandmother, and she passes Jessie on to her granddaughter. And the amount of times I've heard people say, oh, Toy Story 4 should have ended with Andy reuniting with Woody and giving him to his grandkids. People want thematic rhyming. They want that rhyme. They want that full circle. They want to see Buzz and Woody reunited with Andy, because that's full circle. That's cute. That's cathartic. But I think, right, I know you're going to point out, like, I'm thinking realistically here. But I think there's just so much more beauty in kind of the reality of Toy Story and how that kind of relates to our reality and how it relates to our own experiences, you know? The idea that we passed on our toys and we can still...
Yeah, because I agree with you. I actually like it.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers a lot of these people doesn't bother me, but I can understand it very much because it is. That's where I say I do think these movies fundamentally are not like disrespectful, but they don't treat the first three movies with reverence because they want to do their own thing. But for a lot of these people, I think they would prefer if like they just didn't exist at all. But that's where we come back, which is like they already do exist. But I guess my middle ground thing is like, I do think Buzz is the negative of this movie. And so if you were going to make a movie, we're going to do these themes and I'm okay with those themes. I do think it would be worth it to have Buzz in it more than just the ending. But I understand what you're saying where it's like, but it is kind of fun. The idea of like life just happens and this is what's happening to Woody. And I do actually enjoy that for the movie. So that's that. I guess to me, this is the whole point I'm trying to get to is this is why I can't say the movie is as good as 1 through 3 because I'm more mixed on it. But I do think the things I'm mixed on are quite enjoyable. But it is just obvious that Buzz is given the shaft in this movie. So.
Yeah, I'm willing to admit that, yes, the biggest flaw in these Toy Story movies belongs to 4, and it is to do with Buzz. I am willing to admit that.
Yeah, and I do think that hurts. I do think that hurts Woody leaving. So,
it's not as much of a blemish, though, to me, as it just is to others, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think Buzz, by the time he reaches where he needs to go in the third act, he's ready. Like, I don't know. I just think once Buzz does kind of get sobered up and is trying to sober up Woody, his moments there are fantastic. Like,
it just works for
when he's like when he's arguing with Woody about it. When he's like, Woody, come on now, we don't have to like risk our lives just to get Bonnie reunited with a fucking fork, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But I also like that the film finds a middle ground between Woody's kind of sense of duty. He still fulfills that duty. He's going to get Forky back one way or another.
Which I really like.
Yeah. And I like that the movie still... It doesn't outright say Woody's wrong for that. It questions him. I like that. I like that this movie asks questions.
And leaning to your point, it makes it to where it makes Woody feel like an independent character because he is like, well, it doesn't really matter if like what's best for me is this. I can do that later. For now, I mean, that again, it's the parenthood thing. It's self-sacrifice, right?
Yes.
It's like
Woody,
he's like, well, but
Woody
she does care about this fork, so I'm getting it for her. I don't care what it means for me. I'll deal with that later because I'm a parent.
Yeah, he's trying to be selfless, and by the end, he chooses what he wants. And I think that is such an important character development, and I think it's an important thing to show a hero do. Like, because there's a lot of people who are so self-sacrificial in the world, and then they wonder why they're miserable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, no, I mean, I quite like Toy Story 4. Again, Gabby is my favorite character in the movie as far as that goes. Forky, I think, is quite funny. The movie is also just like the movie is just very endearing and funny and stuff. And I like the Key and Peele guys is it Keenan?
Yeah, Ducky and Bunny. Yeah, like the new cast in that movie are great. I enjoyed the Slappies, the guys from Goosebumps, the ventriloquist dummies. They were
they're fun. They're creepy. They have like a nice little scene.
Also, back.
Yeah, and you wanted to mention, I wanted to like give you a chance to talk about this, which is that you had said there was something about 4 and 5 animation-wise that stood out to you, or like the textures or something like that.
Right, yes, because 4 really pulls the animation up a few notches.
Yeah.
But what's funny is because like the fidelity is already there in 3. Like these are still like highly detailed models in Toy Story 3. They look fantastic in 3. But 5 brings in a lot of new features. It boasts a lot of like the light reflections and stuff. The opening scene, you've got kind of like the lights of Andy's house reflecting on the puddles in the rain outside when they're rescuing RC. Like they're doing things with water to new extents that they'd not done to quite that extent in Toy Story. But another thing I love about it is that they used virtual but realistic camera setups. So they use the same logic as real-life cameras, and they still use lenses that replicate real-world camera lenses with all their imperfections. But it's an animated movie. They even have, like... This is something that Twitter's been talking about, and it's one occasion where Twitter's having a conversation about cinematography I actually like, is that people are praising the use of split diopter shots in Toy Story 4, where you've got 2 subjects in focus on opposing ends of the screen, and it kind of has like a split kind of effect to it. I don't know how exactly to say it, but you need like a special kind of lens to really pull this off, but like... Toy Story 4 does it. You can tell that... I can't remember who directed Toy Story 4. I think it was...
Was it Andrew Stanton?
It wasn't Andrew Stanton, but whoever did this was clearly a fan of just movies and cameras and stuff, because they integrated those elements in there. And another thing I love is how they use the very shallow depth of field to really exacerbate the scale of the toys in this one. The other movies do this, but Toy Story 4 fucking wears it. And, like...
Oh, yeah.
It is, in my opinion, the most gorgeous-looking Toy Story movie that they've ever done. I'm gonna put the controller down for a bit, just let these three sit, but, like...
Yeah, because I agree. I think it still looks better than 5, so...
Yeah. 5 still has moments of looking gorgeous, and it does pick up a lot of the same techniques, but obviously with 4, you've got the backdrop of the Grand Basin, which is a carnival, which is all lights. And, like, during the scene where Woody's saying goodbye to the gang, you've got the shallow depth of field. You've got the carnival lights in the background. You've got how everything's reflecting off of the toys, and it is absolutely fucking gorgeous to look at. I will say I do prefer full frame to anamorphic, because Toy Story 4 is the only one to be in anamorphic, which is where you got, like, the black bars at the top and bottom. But, like... At the end of the day, it was a choice. It was a filmmaking choice, and they do kind of keep, like, there's chromatic aberrations in Toy Story 4 that were not present on any previous Toy Story film, which, again, acts like real camera lenses, acts like aging camera lenses. Toy Story 4 has kind of an aged quality to it. It's got a very golden, warm feel to that movie. Like, just visually, it's just fantastic. And real quick, before I just get stuck in the weeds at how fucking beautiful Toy Story 4 is to look at, we got a $4.99 super chat from Swellstuff483. Thank you so much. Eggman being the name of a company that made the evil sentient tablet is such a hilarious coincidence. And yeah, I too was like, Eggman! And then there's that bit where Jesse's like, Eggman Tech. I was like, oh my god. But
I was going to say, do they know?
Well, you'll notice in Toy Story 1, the moving van says Eggman on it. And there's a lot of, like, Easter eggs of these Eggman logos throughout different Pixar films. And I think it's because there's someone... There's someone that works there whose name is, I think, Ralph Eggleston, and he had the nickname Eggman, and I think he had this before Sonic. So that's just kind of why you see Eggman a lot in, like, Pixar films, including Toy Story. And Toy Story 5, where it gets mentioned out loud, which is really funny.
Yeah, it's cute. I like it a lot.
But, like, yeah, no, it was a fun coincidence. Yeah, Toy Story 4, I think there's a lot you can argue about what the film should and shouldn't do. But I have well and truly accepted it for what it is, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's an absolutely lovely movie. There are times when I think I'd rather put this one on than 3 as well. Like, just because 3's stressful, 3's oppressive, this movie's a hug. This movie is just a fucking hug.
It is a very good vibe, because like you mentioned, the carnival aesthetic is really, like, warm and nice.
Yeah.
A lot of the nighttime finale sequence is just super, like, because they always have a carnival near where I live every year.
It's so fucking pretty.
It feels very cozy. Also, like, Toot Kaboom and I keep wanting to call her Barbie, Bo Peep. They're all just very endearing characters. I love the creativity of how they use the toy reality and, like, her helping toys, and just like the way her body works in terms of, like, the texture on her and stuff. Or, like, doesn't she also have, like, a broken arm or a leg in this? I forget. Doesn't she have, like, a piece
she
of her
does.
broken?
Yeah. And, like, Woody accidentally pulls it off of her at one point and thinks he's done, like, the worst thing ever. Also, I love the bit where the children are playing in the sandbox, and Woody and Bo Peep are brought to each other's eye line, and the music is kind of screaming, but they have to maintain their toy position. And, like, I love that, because you could just kind of feel the excitement from Woody, like, kind of just, you know, getting back this missing piece for himself, you know? He never thought he'd see Bo again. And here they are. And I think, you know, even down to the fact that we've established in Toy Story 4 that the goodbye between Woody and Buzz isn't necessarily forever, because we've already established that toys can be reunited in Toy Story 4. We already established that with Bo.
And 5 exists, and they can just literally call each other and come hang out. So,
and 5, I think, really kind of re-engineered it in a good way. It added a nice new geography to the Toy Story universe that wasn't there before.
Oh, yeah. It's, yeah, no, I would agree with you that I think 4 is the most vibey as far as, like, a chill movie. Like, it really does just feel like, you know what, this is a character piece, like you said, for Woody, and we're just at this, like, carnival, which is, again, it's a very nostalgic feeling for, I guess, a lot of the adults watching, you know, for these little carnivals or whatever. And then just the idea of, like, oh, like, finding an old, like, also, like, you think of Woody being like this old-fashioned cowboy. It's also kind of the idea of like finding your first love at like a carnival or like a school fair or something like that. So it's like, oh, they've been reunited again. You know, it has a very just summer vibe to it, you know, like a summer
it feels like a summer
vibe.
movie, and like, yeah, when you see like Buzz soaring across like the skyline in the daytime because he's gonna go find Woody, it's a spectacle. And like even just the reflections in like Buzz's fucking helmet, it's just like it.
Yeah, they're in like a well, and also the fact that some of the characters there are like toys at the thing, and also I love the ending sequence where they're helping. You know, because obviously at these vendors or whatever, they don't want you to win. They're trying to fuck you over and get your money. So the idea of like, I love the sympathy they give. Yeah, but I love the silliness of the idea of like, well, those toys need a home too, and they're never going to get one because these greedy carnival people are trying to screw you over. So they start like cheating the games so that people will get their toys, and it's like that's so
it's like
fun.
Effectively, your childhood pals are eliminating scams before your very eyes, and it's beautiful. Like I love that so much.
Yeah, so to me, it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, again, for all my, I guess, devil's advocating, I do really love this movie, and I do think that, like, for what it's going for, it's really strong. And if I am to remove myself from the sanctity of 1 through 3 as, like, that's the complete idea of what it wants to tell, and that's the mark that Toy Story wanted to leave on the world. But you know what? We don't live in that world. We live in a world where they're owned by fucking Disney, so they would have to make more. And you know what? In that instance, they made something really special. And the idea of like basically, it's like what people don't like about 4 is that it exists and that it makes you have to deal with the fact that more life goes on for these characters. In the same way that movies try to be escapism, right? We want to have this escape. We want to have a permanent goodbye for these toys and say goodbye to them.
Now that like 5 is out, people need to go back and rewatch 4 because the amount of people I've heard saying, "Yeah, 4 sucked shit. 5 is much better." I'm like, 5 stands by everything you disliked about 4. 5 completely stands by and doubles down on. Woody's not even the focus this time. Like this is the most out there Toy Story movie we've ever had. Like,
well, and
this is the one
because now they are forced to deal with the fact it's like, well, 4 does exist. I am fucking mad. And then they watch 5 because they're like, I'm going to be mad. And they're like, wait a minute, it's a good movie. It's like, yeah, 4 is a good movie. You just got to rip the Band-Aid off.
You know? To like 5 a bit more. Like they probably didn't want to like 4 because they were attached to 3. But now because they're so fucking mad at 4, they can embrace 5. I'm just like, maybe all these fucking numbers have their use. Like I can safely say every Toy Story movie has at least one thing that it does the best. And I think that applies to 4 and 5 as well. Like,
yeah, do we want to get to 5?
One more thing to talk about before we wrap up on 4. Well, two more things. Forky, I think, is a worthy addition to the cast. I like Forky.
Oh, he's very funny.
Yeah, he is funny. I think he's even funnier in 5 because he's like settled into the gang now. I'm gonna go to the toy box world again. Like he's become part of the squad, and like you kind of see how he like kind of tells Woody, like gives him the rundown of what's been going on in his absence. But before we get into that, I do just want to say, like, yeah, Forky's arc in Toy Story 4, which they could have called Toy Story Fork now that I think about it, but okay, like, they restrained, fine. But like, yeah, I liked our new supporting characters a lot. And then also, like, just in regards to Bonnie, because a lot of people are like, Bonnie's super unlikable in this movie. I'm like, holy fuck, guys, she doesn't know these things are alive.
I was gonna say, she doesn't know any of this.
I mean, to be fair, we can exercise that same sympathy for Sid now, I think, but, like, she doesn't know that these are alive. She doesn't know there's an audience watching who these characters fucking hit like crack for millennials. Like, she doesn't know that we're all out here thinking this is the best fucking thing ever. She's a little girl who lost a toy. And as Bo Peep says in the movie several times, kids lose their toys all the time. And this is the thing, is I know that there's a lot of like concern about like whether or not things are thematically honoring the previous movies. But I'm just like, but these are good too. The previous movie, like Toy Story 3 has not ceased to exist. Toy Story 3's ending is no less of a gut punch in my opinion. Even if it's, you know, not the last we'll see of them. Like, an impactful scene doesn't have to be the last you ever see of the characters to be impactful.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know, if you want to be the Andy, then drive off and be the Andy. Leave the toys behind. But, like, I think it is nice for us to check in and see how they're doing. But I've repeated this point ad nauseum because I'm a defensive little piss bitch. We're gonna.
No, you're good, and I've talked about it enough. I want to just gush about 5 now.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about 5 because it's a new one. Like, and again, spoiler warning for anyone that hasn't seen 5. We're gonna be spoiling shit. Like, we've been spoiling the other movies. Why the fuck would we not spoil this one? But I've already done a spoiler-free review of 5. But okay, if you just want spoiler-free thought, movie good?
Oh, it's great. I really like this movie, like a lot. So
yeah, movie great.
And there's no real ifs, ands, or buts for this one, like there was with 4, where I'm like, buzz. With this one, I just think it's great from start to finish, and I think that there is a part of it that I think is like less well done, and it is Buzz and Woody, but it's not a problem for me in this one.
Okay, right. No, see, this is where I thought we would disagree. In some capacity. So let's get kind of stuck in. But like, first and foremost, big departure, and I didn't know exactly like to what extent this would impact the movie. But like, we knew that Jesse was going to be the main character of this one. But again, that doesn't necessarily. It doesn't necessarily always mean that other characters are necessarily going to sit on the sidelines. But this was an instance where it was like, yes, you can feel that Buzz and Woody are less present this time, like significantly less present.
Oh yeah, it's a Jesse movie through and through. Jesse.
And I said in my own video, I think in an ideal world, I think people would stomach these movies 10 times better if Toy Story 4 were called Woody a Toy Story, and if Toy Story 5 were called Jesse a Toy Story. And it works, because these are single character narratives. You wouldn't have the expectations of action scenes involving Potato Head and Rex and stuff like that. All they have to do is focus on those characters, because that's all the title ever dictated. I think,
that's the marketing.
What's interesting is in Germany, because I was spending a bit of time in Germany when I first went to see Toy Story 4, the film was called A Toy Story, Alles hat auf kein Kommando, which I think translates to A Toy Story, All is Quiet Without the Commander. Oh, it's clunky,
that's cool.
But it's kind of
cool
neat. Yeah, it is kind of neat. Yeah. But it's a clunker, but I mean, you directly translate a lot of titles and you get clunky thingies.
Is Commander supposed to represent, like, the sheriff, right? Like, it's representing...
I guess
like,
so, yeah. It's like, Woody's not really... Woody's off doing his own thing, and the toys are in the camper van, so it's like, what do we do now? I find it so funny, actually, that in the publicity promo for Toy Story 5, they said how they scoured hours upon hours of video games and stuff to find dialogue of Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head that they could use. And all he ever says is a single line. He says, "Hey, watch it, buddy." He has the most non-specific line of dialogue. It's like, you really needed to spend all that time trolling through all that just for... Hey, watch it, buddy. Toy Story 5 has a similar issue with one particular recast. But, like, I won't go into that yet. But, like, yeah, if you had a problem with Toy Story 4 not focusing on the other characters, then boy howdy, you should have a fucking problem with the fact that Woody's not even the main character this time. Like, by that logic. Like, this should be worse.
Oh, yeah, this is a Jesse movie through and through, and I fucking love it. Because one, despite Jesse being very important in 2 and 3, obviously, she was still always a side character, lesser than Buzz, I would say. Even in 2, I would say that even though obviously her song is the standout moment, that's kind of the thing you most resonate with, because then it kind of defers back to Woody and his feelings on that and how she connects to that. Whereas, like, what I love about this movie is it really is all about her feelings through and through, and her being just an active protagonist 24/7, trying to be that new parent character for Bonnie. And it's just so endearing how selfless she is, but also like the little bits of sass she has in her character. Like, it really elevated Jessie just as a character for me, making her like, now she is up there with me with like Woody and Buzz. Like, I love her as much as those two. Because of this film.
Yeah, so. Like, she's like I always kind of saw them as the trio anyway, really, like the main trio of Toy Story. And it was almost kind of sad that Jessie got so little to do in Toy Story 4, so this did feel like kind of, I guess, not righting a wrong as such, but just like giving back a little something that was sacrificed, I guess.
Yes.
And like, the thing is, I think pivoting the focus to Jessie was absolutely the right call, because I don't think Woody would... There's not really anything you can do with him as the main character now. His story's told. He's retired, Like, and I think Pixar had a very unenviable position of, okay, we've got a character whose story is told, but I mean, you're gonna want to see him, aren't you? Like, let's be real. You're gonna want to see Woody. Like, otherwise, let's be real. Toy Story 5 is going to be the worst Toy Story movie ever if Woody's not in it, right? Like, like that's what a lot of people's logic's going to be. So they've got to find, like, what do we do? How do we get him into this? Like, it's Jesse's story, so make Woody kind of a focus of the subplot about Buzz. All right, that's cool. How do you feel? Do you think they should have just not done Woody for this one? I've seen some people say he was completely an unnecessary addition, shouldn't have been in the movie. I have my own opinions on that. Like, where do you stand on, like, Woody's role in this?
I like Woody in the movie. I think it's perfectly fine that because I mean, as soon as there's a problem with Bonnie and like not being able to help her or whatever, they just call Woody up, and it's like, what's Woody doing? He's helping toys. That's really cool. That's really admirable. Makes him feel really cool. And then he's just like, hey, well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to help. And then kind of his thing is that he is there to basically act as the, I guess, like the cavalry to help, like, you know, give Jessie the muscle she needs in that final act. And so the idea of, like, he's moved into a support role, I thought was really, like, perfectly good. Like, I enjoyed that for him and stuff like that.
I was concerned about optics because I'm a little wokelet who only knows how to think, like, and only knows how to make my little heart bleed. I was worried about optics because I was like, okay, so Jesse's been made the sheriff and we're immediately calling Woody back into action. The optics here are kind of funky,
but that's
right?
what I like is that he doesn't. She's already gone off to do things, yeah.
Well, another great thing about this, Woody's not even supposed to be there. Jesse only called him to talk to him. And, like, they static out and he hears a deputy and she's talking to Buzz. But he thinks it's him, so he goes over and he's got nothing to fucking do. And so he's kind of like, well, I'm here. I might as well be the sheriff, right? And Buzz is like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, I like that. I think the thing about this is Woody and Buzz, yes, they get significantly less screen time than they had in the previous movies. But they are on top form. They're bickering with each other. They're arguing with I love how we've kind of had them kind of, you know, grow closer, grow more mature. And now that they're back together after all this, they're still the same Woody and Buzz. They are still, you know, they're still men, full of testosterone and jealousy and wanting attention and wanting to be the Jesse's best guy and stuff like that, you know? Like, Woody's like a brother to Jesse, and I mean, that is kind of official, because, like, you know, his full name is Woody Pride, her full name is Jessica Jane Pride, so Buzz is the romance, Woody's the brother kind of deal. And, like, you can kind of have little power struggles that come with that. So, I will say, like, I remember when the first picture came out from Toy Story 5 showcasing, like, stuff with Woody, I was like, is this going to undercut 4's ending? And it's a similar concern to what a lot of people had with, like, Andy leaving and us resuming Toy Story without him, is, like, you know, is this right? You know, Woody's story's told, is it right to bring him back? I'm going to say something right now. It's not that I wasn't enjoying the movie up until that point, but I was missing Woody. I was really fucking missing him. I was like, I love these guys. I love Buzz. I love Jesse. I love the story we're telling. I love these fucking clone Buzzes that we've also got as well. I thought that was really fun. But I was like, I do miss Woody. I do miss him. And it was like, as soon as he was in the fray, and it's like, yeah, some things have changed. He's a cringy older man. He's balding a little bit. His stuffing's settled a little bit. He's wearing ponchos, which are debatably the fashion of the time. Like, you know, I mean, I thought the poncho was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of rad. It's like a cape when you know, when you've got it a specific way around. But, like, I also just like how dedicated Woody is to the bit, and how, like, even Bo isn't really keen on it. And then, Forky.
No, I think...
when he's like, that's Sammy number 2. Okay, so I'll clear this up for you. There was a Sammy number 1, but he died. I was like, he died. That's really funny. Yeah. He's really funny.
Anytime he's... Well, I also just like that... This is why I like Forky. I just like his earnestness. So I like the idea that he's just like, oh, I'll help you out, Woody. Like, you're bald. That's why everyone's terrified of you.
Hey, you're old because you're bald, Woody. Like...
yeah, like, and it's not... I just like it because it's not that he's like... I guess, like, it's like, oh, like, the joke is that he's stupid. He doesn't know you shouldn't say that. The joke is that he's like, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to let Woody know, you know? He's my bro.
I know people were kind of concerned about, like, them doing Woody dirty. It felt more like a loving roast to the character. Like, you were once the most important guy in this franchise, and now we're giving him, like, a loving roast that only best friends could. Like, you know, it feels like Woody is a friend to Pixar.
People are just being babies. Like, for one, the scene where they're all, like, laughing at, like, his laugh or whatever. One, it's not in the movie. It's just a promo bit. So that's not in there. And then two, the scene where he comes down and he just has like these old things or whatever. Again, if you're in the writer's room and you're like, okay, Woody's back and he's old, let's do some funny toy gags with that. That's literally all it is. We're just doing toy gags. And then, by the way, his first scene in the movie is him being a hero and saving this guy. And it's not like
he's
by,
awesome in that scene. Like when he's saving the peanut guy. You're like,
because I could totally see, again, this would be where it would feel like lame of just like, okay, well, can we let Woody do something? Is if like, I don't know, like he's trying to do it. And then it's like, I don't know, Bo Peep comes in. It's like, well, I've been doing this a little longer than you. And then she saves. And it's like, but I want to see Woody be cool, you know? So
another thing I kind of like.
Yeah, the first thing you see is Woody be cool. And then they roast him. And then that's it. That's the only time that ever happens in the movie.
Yeah. And then like throughout the rest of it, he's kind of just observing. But it's kind of just nice to just have him around, just reacting to things. Like, I don't know, like, for example, like, there's a big emotional moment in the third act, and I won't go into it yet, but, like, just seeing Woody's reaction to it is just funny. It's like, you used to be the shit, and now you're just a part of the scenery, and we love you for it. Like, he works well as a side character still. But it's like, he's that much more valuable because he matters to us so much. Like, we've seen him go through so much. He's been the focus. So now we've just got this amazing side character who we are so happy to see again.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's just Woody's, like, that's what I mean, where we can talk about this some of it right now, just so that way we can get back to the gushing, which is you had sent me a screenshot of the part where all the buses are flying, and you have Woody and Buzz, and they're in their little, you know, Toy Story 1 thing, and they even play the leitmotif again. And you're like, I feel like this is a moment that would like make someone weep. And I'm like, I'll allow it because it's like, you know, not, it doesn't feel like it's trying to pander.
Like,
but it is just a pandering moment.
Yeah, like I'm not a crier at movies. I'm not saying that because I'm insecure. I am, but like I just don't cry at movies. It's just not a thing that happens. But like, I can also relate to the feeling of being a little bit weepy, I guess. Like, you feel like that emotion?
Like, I don't, because it's fake. It's not like a real moment. There is no actual character moment happening. It's just,
well, no,
it is it was literally the epitome of pandering.
It's literally a fan service. It's a fan service, yeah. But here's the thing, right? I mentioned my biggest gripe with Toy Story 4 was that Buzz could have related a little bit to Duke Kaboom, so that when he soared across the sky, we could have played that leitmotif. But no, we played the Canadian national anthem instead. So just acknowledging, we're flying with style, and we got these new buzzes, and Buzz doesn't mind that these new buzzes are actually able to fly. He's gonna fuck Jessie, you know? Like, I was just like, this is lovely. Like, they've got no reason to be jealous of each other now. Like, he's got Bo, he's got Jessie, and at the end of the day, you know, what better prize is there than a woman? Right, there you go. Right, I have to end this now because I've officially said the worst thing ever. It wouldn't be a pop stream without me at one point saying the worst thing ever. But like,
no. But no, the thing, and again, it's not even a bad moment. Like, to me, like when I saw it, like I smiled. Like they're literally manipulating you in like the way they want you to do it, which is fine.
It's a nostalgia done right, because Toy Story 5 is kind of interesting when you look at it next to 4, 3, and 2, in that of all of the, like, we've got the kind of the modern fad of the nostalgia sequel, and Toy Story 5 is definitely the most nostalgia sequel of all of them. There's moments where they're like recreating shots, like when Buzz first sees Woody, he does the exact same thing he did in Toy Story 1, where he's pointing the laser at him and shit. Like, all of this is like mimicked. They mimic the shot where like he's, you know, there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. And then you have got the flying with style ending and stuff like that. But in this instance, I'm like, you've earned your nostalgia, man. Like, this is a good movie. Like, if you're a good movie, that's all you got to do to earn the nostalgia, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, is that the movie, similar to it's literally what you said, which is that the movie itself never like takes time away from like giving you a good story with Jessie and Bonnie.
Yeah, you know, like, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant, where it's like it is just pandering, but like it's the cute kind of pandering where it feels like they were like, well, we're already doing this, so we might as well. Like we're gonna, like, they probably came up with the scene of like them flying with the buzzes because it's actually very useful to the idea of technology and like them unlocking the little app and like adding to things or whatever. And then they were just like, well, Woody and Buzz are here, why not just do it? Like, to me, that's what made it cute. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
I'm like,
what?
Fine, it's movie number 5, do a callback, you know, like, but like do it right. Like,
well, it's not using that callback to be like, see, isn't this the moment that you're gonna want to come to the movie for. Like, no, the movie has its own big moments. So anyway, but I guess, so yeah, for Woody and Buzz to end that off or whatever, unless you had more to say, which is just the main thing that I didn't like about it, actually disliked about it, is I just don't think Buzz wanting to be with Jessie is all that compelling, because the reasons he's always wanted to be with her is just because he wants to fuck her. So it's not that compelling. It's not that interesting. It's just that he has a crush on her. So the idea that like, what's Buzz's plot line for this? Well, he's just like, I just fucking love Jessie. It's like, yeah, I know you do, but it was like a gag before. Like, it's not that compelling. It's not actually a compelling dynamic.
I think it's nice that they took something that was kind of a bit more of a gag. I mean, in 3, it's quite explicit that these two have a thing going on. It's always been kind of a bit more of a will they, won't they.
But it's not a real thing. It's not like a story.
But that's the thing, is it surprised me that they made that real. Like, I was like, I always saw this as kind of a will they, won't they. I was genuinely like, you gotta think, I'm someone who follows the shit out of Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm used to nothing happening, you know? So, like, when Buzz is like, I want to marry Jessie, I was like, oh, we're doing this head on. Okay, all right. Like,
yeah, and that's what I mean, where it's just cute, but it's just like, man, I wish Buzz was a character.
I think Buzz loves Jessie because he's impressed by her. Like,
oh, obviously he actually does care about her, but it's not.
He likes her because she's strong.
Where's the scene where that's real? Where's the scene where that's actually real, like delved into?
Toy Story 2, when she does the cool trick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm counting that as a delving because it was cool.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I would have like obviously he gives the reasons, like, well, she's like really cool and funny and intelligent, like the thing you always do anytime you ask a boy what they like about a girl. And it's just fine. But it's like, man, could we just give Buzz anything, please?
When I was watching it, I was like, oh, little Buzz is in love. He's growing up. Like,
yeah, it's cute. That's where it's not like a problem. It's just like, man, I waited 2 movies. I'm still waiting for Buzz to do anything.
I also just like how open and emotionally candid Buzz is about it with others, though. I like that the movie didn't treat his crush like a crime. It's good. We need that. Because I've grown up in a generation where expressing affection is something to be ashamed of, and now it's really fucking difficult to make connections. So I like the fact that these guys are able to openly communicate these things in a healthy way.
Yes, that I think is very cute. So again, it's literally not even a problem. It's just a thing that stood out of like, man, I just want us to give Buzz a storyline, but it's fine. It's better than. I've seen a lot of people that are kind of like saying they hope that Buzz will be the focus of like a Toy Story 6, and then it would make sense because then that means your Bonnie trilogy has one movie that focuses on each of like the main trio. I will raise one thing. That exists, it's called Lightyear. But, like... well, yeah. Do it in a Toy Story movie, please.
I understand, yeah. People want to see that for Buzz the toy and not for Buzz the Chris Evans. I would actually like to touch on Lightyear a little later, but, like, while we're doing the main Toy Story movies, we'll keep it consistent. We haven't talked much about Jessie's story, and I will say, I think the film...
now I want to gush. There's nothing negative I have left to say. I fucking love this movie, so go. You got it.
I mean, it's really kind of difficult to talk about Jessie's story because I really have no notes. It's a very emotionally both compelling and resonant story. I mean, it immediately sets up... I think the thing that's good about these Toy Story sequels as well is that, like, with Toy Story 3, there's not a lot of time between the incinerator and the ending, you know? And these guys are reeling emotionally. They haven't processed that pain at the end of Toy Story 3. You've got So Long Partner. That doesn't mean closure. That doesn't mean that Woody didn't go have a little cry wank afterwards, you know? Like, so, like, I like the fact that Toy Story 2 had Woody working through that pain. Toy Story 2? What the fuck am I shitting saying? Toy Story 4 had Woody work through that pain. And then Toy Story 5 immediately out the gate sets us off with Jessie's unresolved trauma. She didn't get a So Long Partner with Emily the way Woody did with Andy. So it's all very good we're feeling bad for Woody. But Jessie genuinely has unresolved trauma. And Toy Story 5 immediately says, did you fucking forget about this shit? Like, it's not the first scene. Like, the first scene is establishing the Buzzes, which I think making that the opening scene was the right call. Because it kind of sets up a backdrop for things to happen. But, like, yeah, when we get to the flashback with Jessie and Emily, and we actually get to see Emily this time, and we get to kind of see that, yeah, we're not over this yet. You're never necessarily gonna be over it. Jessie needs to kind of know where she stands with Emily now. And it kind of feels like she can never know that. And I mentioned earlier, like, rhyming thematics. People wanted the rhyming theming. They wanted her reunited with Emily. But it's low-hanging fruit, man. Part of the reason why I do value the realism approach that Toy Story does generally take towards things like the passage of time and people's lives and stuff is that verisimilitude. So I like that Toy Story kind of kept with that. And that, like, yeah, we kind of gone there with.
Oh, I'm very
well.
glad they don't meet again. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm very, very glad they did not do that.
It would be easy. It's easy tears. It's easy. One of the things I like about Toy Story 5 the most is that this movie is the one that made me the least weepy. Like, of the post Toy Story 2, I guess. Like, 3, you know, emotional gut punch ending and stuff. 4, emotional gut punch ending. 5, we're kind of ending on like we've got a bit of an unresolved issue here, but at the same time, it's one that just we know can only be dealt with through compassion and patience. Like, it doesn't actually solve the issue of tech in Toy Story 4. It doesn't solve brain rot, it doesn't fix it. And I saw a person complaining about that, but I said that's good, because it's treating the matter with the verisimilitude it deserves. The worst way you can tell a story that relates to the real world is to go, don't do that, don't do that, do this, don't do that, or if you do this, I hate you, or something like that. You know, like Toy Story...
Or to pretend that you have the answer. You're the only one brave enough to have
yeah,
the
like
real
Toy
answer.
Story 5 has parallels to kind of like... It has parallels to kind of like civil rights and stuff with the tech toys to some degree. Like, obviously, like, there's only so far you can take that allegory because tech is inherently different from toys, while, like, you know, a skin color isn't. Like, it's fucking trivial bullshit. Like, but, like, it's always very difficult doing civil rights allegories because so many people either take it too far and go too explicit with the allegory to the point where it's like, why are you comparing a skin color to, say, fucking robots in, like, let's say, Detroit Become Human? Toy Story 4 never outright lampshades it being the allegory and goes, look, see, look, racism, tech, racism, devices, slurs, you know.
And I didn't even take it as the main idea being, I mean, it's in the movie, but I never
well,
took
there's
the
that
main
bit where
idea.
just like, the last thing we need is more devices. It's like when people like, the last thing we need is more immigrants and stuff. Like, but of course,
to me, it leads more into the theme of being an adult or being a parent again, which is that these devices, like the idea that I love that Jesse says is like the reason technology is bad, because I never had kind of heard it articulated this way as like a theme for something, which is, I mean, I've heard it, but it's like the idea of like, you make kids grow up faster, because in Bonnie's case, she has this little iPad and she's talking to all these other girls. And so like they're sort of like little clique they form or whatever. They're able to more immediately like bully her or like make fun of her. And she's able to see this firsthand a lot quicker than if she had just like maybe engaged with, or maybe only experienced it at school and then was able to talk to her parents or whatever. And it isolates her because now she's on her iPad all the time and things like that. And so it's like Bonnie is being exposed to all these things a lot quicker, and the technology
she's also being
does
exposed to like
expose you
cringe culture as well, because like the film does kind of play on that topic of like when, you know, something that's a little private, maybe a little personal, maybe a little immature of you or something, I don't know, is
you have to be ashamed
public.
of it.
Yeah, and you have to. The thing I found eye opening though was like they mentioned Bonnie's 8. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Do we really live in a day and age where an 8-year-old is embarrassed for playing with toys? I remember being a kid, like, you get to, like, 13 or so, then you start getting ridiculed for that shit. But, like, 8? Are you fucking kidding me? Are they that repressed? And, like, the way they show it is, like, yeah, it is a form of repression. She says, like, the toys are antiques. You know, she was just hanging on to them, but she don't really care. And that's something I think a lot of us watching have been through. Another thing I like, though, is that, like, the positioning between the toys and the children in this movie is so unique because they're in a way working against each other, kinda. But yet they, you know, obviously love each other. But, like, Jessie is kind of that boomer parent that doesn't understand the merit of the devices. Like, doesn't understand how these devices could help Bonnie, how they could integrate into play and stuff like that. And, yeah, she's very anti-device, very anti-tech. This is gonna ruin Bonnie, and, like, we're trying to make her make friends and stuff the only way we know how. Like, the boomers in the audience will be watching that, and you know what I fucking love about it is that Jessie eats humble pie. Like, she's not entirely right about it. Like,
yeah, the idea is that technology, like anything else, if we're gonna have it, because it's already here, that's kind of the message of the movie, is like, technology is here and your kids are gonna engage with it. and it might take some of your time, but the time you do have with your kids, you should be there for because they will remember it. And two is that technology should not take away from personal encounters, period. It should bring people together in the same way that Channel Pup, obviously you and I would almost certainly never have been friends if not for the internet, if not for, things like that, for those connections.
I mean, the Walmart encounter was kind of like not canon, so like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, it's just one of those things where it like, I love that idea of technology being like, it's like, okay, they are going to have it and it should be you, but no matter what, the technology, the thing we will stand on is that technology should bring people together more, rather than be like these little isolated islands that they should live in and brain melt in, that I think is the really cool part about it. So,
by the way, right now you are not watching a man play a game, you are watching a man stim. Like, because I'm doing fuck all. I just knocked fucking the prospector into the water. Like, that's all I did. Like, this is just stimming to do something with my hands while we chat Toy Story.
Yeah.
How did you get back? What the fuck? That's such a Barney Gumble moment. Like, right. No, definitely not putting up with you, fat ass. Into the water you go. Where's Lotso? I got a score to settle with that. All right. Okay, yeah, back to kind of Toy Story 5. It's also quite interesting kind of how well balanced out the movie is. One of the things that I was slightly kind of like, about was like the idea of this Buzz army, because the idea is cool, but I was like, how does that slot? That feels completely divorced from everything else. But the movie does a good job at making it the opening scene, so it sets it up as a backdrop for everything else to play out, and they do get utilized in the third act in a way that is satisfying. The way they follow into Jesse's story and seeing the star is really fucking clever. I think the army of Buzzes might have maybe gotten a little more significance in this movie than the real Buzz, but they were just very fucking cool. I love the scene with the fucking Bambi music as well. No, like it was just such a weird directorial decision, but I like it. And I think it needed to kind of be there because Toy Story 5 is a movie that spends a lot of time in houses, like just kind of in houses. You're in Bonnie's house. You're in Blaze's house. Blaze. You're spending a lot of time in houses, and you could also have the risk of accidentally making the movie. Okay, so I like to think that boys could relate to Jessie and stuff as well. I feel like I can relate to Jessie. Like, she's dealing with a lot of rejection in this movie and feeling like she's not good enough and stuff. And I think that's something that we can all kind of relate to. But, I think there's naturally the concern of, could the movie become too girly and stuff? And those Buzzes just being there are perfect to offset it. Just seeing him grab some fucking barbecue tongs, use a George Foreman grill to fuck up a family or some shit. It's just kind of exactly what you need, but also because some of Jesse's story can get incredibly heavy, it can be nice to kind of pull away from that to some Buzz Lightyear shenanigans. These guys could so easily have just been, the minions, but they weren't. I'm not going to try and tell you, these are incredible characters, the OG Buzz Lightyear, but they do factor into the plot in a way that feels necessary, relevant, ties into the themes, and they're fun. Here's the thing. One thing Minions never succeed at is just, being fun to watch for me. When you think about it, the Toy Story aliens were kind of the blueprint for the Minions in a way. But I like those guys. People were complaining they don't use the aliens enough, but I was like, can you imagine if this were Illumination? It would just be Aliens the movie.
Oh yeah, they'd be getting all the one-liners.
Yeah, every 5 minutes the claw would come down.
No. But no, I remember as soon as she was in the farm area, I was like, well, that's a little weird. Are we really going to spend a good chunk of the movie, trying to get back? And then, she meets all the little toys, and it's like, okay, are we meeting all these toys even though they're not going to be relevant? And so I thought the movie really brought it to, it tricked me, where I was like, oh, I understand. So this new girl is actually very important. Because I just thought it was going to be important in the sense of, oh, we're just at the house, and then this is where, Jessie was from, so she's going to get some sentimental value. But it's oh, they're tying in, the new generation also of, the family that's living in this house, and how that can become a friend for Bonnie, and how there are, kids out there who think the same way as you, or the fact that she's a country girl, so she is more trying to get she's tactile. She has pets and little funny animals. She's got a lot of
personality. She knows how to deal with a pig.
Well, she would just inherently wouldn't it's a country girl, obviously. The idea of obviously she's gonna have an iPad or a computer or something, but someone who is going to have to get their hands dirty and take care of the animals or ride the animals around, they're not just gonna be glued to their screen, right? So the idea of oh yeah, Bonnie is unique in her way in that she is very creative and outgoing and stuff. And this girl is also creative and outgoing, and she has more of that personality as Bonnie. And now through technology, a city girl, or I don't know, I think maybe they live in the suburbs, but like a city girl and a country girl can now like meet together and become friends. And like that's that's the way in which
nice. Another thing I really like about this, though, is that Blaze is quite confident, or comes across quite confident anyway. Bonnie, on the other hand, clearly has some social issues that she needs to kind of, integrate and stuff.
Blaze is very sweet. I really like her.
Well, this is something I also love about this, is that this movie really establishes the difference between Bonnie and Andy, in that Andy did not grow up in the age of tech, and he did not grow up in an age where you had to be ashamed to play with a fucking Buzz Lightyear. He did not grow up in an age of child repression and stuff like that. Although we never saw him have any friends. Yes, we did. His birthday party, never fucking mind. But like, okay. I think it's cool that Bonnie, we set her up as someone who's socially very anxious, potentially somewhere on the spectrum, which I think is nice. I'd like it if they'd be explicit about that, actually. That would be really nice, I think. I think that'd be valuable. Although, make one of the toys on the spectrum. I think that's, if anything, more valuable, because we want to be like the toys, not the kids. But like, yeah, Bonnie in this movie, is definitely more fleshed out. She's dealing with other things to Andy, and I think at this point, we're immediately justified in making this new series here. I'm like, okay, different kid, different framework, different world. Woody has a different dynamic. I think Toy Story 5 does an excellent job at justifying a post-Toy Story 3 Toy Story. Maybe a stronger job than 4, but I still love 4. Like, 4's Woody's story, I like Woody. Like...
Yeah, I just think the way that the movie handles, the theme of technology, how it makes Bonnie more of a character, and again, just Jessie just consistently being just so good-natured and like just so loving and wanting to help out Bonnie. Like you just really feel for her. She's such a selfless like protagonist. That everything she does.
Lily Pad, she gets to be a villain that is treated with humanity and like, she gets like the redemption and stuff. But she's not a traumatized villain either. She hasn't had to really endure, like, pain to feel that. She just kind of saw she made a mistake and wanted to make it right, made another mistake trying to make it right, and then accepted, like, Jessie's help and stuff like that. Like, and knew that it would be the right thing for Bonnie. They all agreed that, at the end of the day, they just want to make a kid happy. They can. There's not even
an antagonist in this film because, she's not a villain for one. From the get-go, they say that she wants to make Bonnie happy. She wants to do what's best for her. Like that is explicit from the start. She's not like, I'm gonna turn Bonnie into like what I want her to be. She's like, no, I'm making her friends. You want her to have friends? I'm gonna get her friends. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm built for. So I really like that from the get-go. But even just as an antagonist,
she's not immediately unpleasant to Jessie either. She becomes a bit bitchy, but it's purely because Jessie's lecturing her.
That's because Jessie's being rude.
So, and I do like the fact that even after the redemption, that bitchiness does remain a bit of a character trait. She's still a little bit bitchy.
Yeah, no, it's very endearing. I really like Lilypad, and just the fact that they immediately establish her as like wanting to help Bonnie. It's like, all right, cool, but like that's a different dynamic because then that also makes when Jessie is trying to do what she's trying to do, it's like, okay, you both want the same thing, right? So that's just I don't know. It's just immediate. It's because with something like Gabby, like she is immediately like kind of like a sneaky villain or whatever. She's trying to get all these things. She has an understandable motivation, but she is trying to hurt Woody. Woody and Buzz are more like the toys are more actively physically antagonistic towards Lilypad than she ever is to them.
Yeah, Buzz and Woody straight up attack her, unplug her life support when you think about it.
Like they are way worse to her. So
it's so good to see these guys are still dicks. I love that.
Yeah, no, I quite like that about it. I was like, oh yeah, so Woody would still like throw a toy into behind
he still probably would murder someone.
Yeah,
it's just the thing is you could debate, does that walk back character debate? No, that just tells me he's still Woody. Like,
well, also you just all things being serious, the way they display the idea of the toys being like on low power mode is just kind of like, they get all dizzy, and also like one of the toys is like, they get like all drunk or whatever. They're not like dead or something like that. Like the toys that were like asleep for like years or years, they're not like traumatized. They're like, oh, we're back, hello. Like it's still a toy logic, so it's fine.
I had a criticism that became a compliment.
What's that?
It was one where I was thinking about it. I was questioning the movie a little bit, and sorry, just real quick. It's Hobo Joe 1391. How am I playing this? It's on the Xbox store. I think it's still on there too. I don't know if they may be taking it off because of the remaster, but like, yeah, it's on the Xbox store. Okay, back to what was I saying? Sorry, why did I distract myself at that time? I could have read that any time. Why did I do that? That's my mistake.
Yeah, I don't know what you were gonna say.
If only there was some kind of live feed I could check. And I could see the last thing I was talking about, but unfortunately, I'm afraid of hearing the sound of my own voice. No, you know what? I'm not afraid of the sound of I'm afraid of you guys hearing the sound of my voice. What I mean is, I'm talking right now. It's fine, but the second some audio comes out, and it's not me talking direct, it's pre-recorded, I'm going to cry. I'm going to literally cry, have a temper tantrum, and it's going to be terrible. I thought of it. I realized the criticism that became a compliment. Okay, so I thought the film was maybe just a little bit loosey-goosey with what it defined as a tech toy. Because I was like, why the fuck would a potty training toy need Wi-Fi access? I'm guessing internet access is the core thread. Why the fuck does a potty train... And then I asked myself, yeah, why the fuck does a potty training thing need access to the internet? And then I thought, yeah, that's really funny, actually. And now
I thought all that stuff was hysterical. Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, Conan O'Brien is really fun in the role. Like, it was. I enjoyed the tech toys. It is a bit false advertisement that they kind of implied that they had like an allegiance with Lilypad in the marketing, but like, yeah, it's what it is.
Well, the thing with the toys that I think is great is that this is probably like a movie, like a kids movie with like the most condensed amount of shit jokes, and they're all funny. Like, yeah, almost every...
So this was the thing, is like, it's a Pixar movie, it's a Toy Story movie, and we've got a character whose sole purpose is to drop potty humor, and yet it's all really subtle and really funny.
Yeah, all the jokes are funny. Dude, the best joke, though, is they do, like, a little... Blaze is, like, playing with the toys, because she's like, I'm going to show you what real playtime is. Like, Jesse's trying to, tell them. And so then, like, Blaze sees all her old toys, and she's like, oh, this would be really funny to do, like, an absurd secret agent mission with all of them. And the potty toy guy, his name in the fake universe is Agent Shit, but S-H-E-T. They say Shet. So his name is Agent Shit.
I didn't even see that. That's really fucking funny.
They're like, thank you, Agent Shet. So they're just consistently saying thank you, Agent Shit.
So they're saying it like Shet. So it's like kind of plausible deniability. That's so good. I love that. I don't know how I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I was dying. I was like, this is amazing. I did want to point
out, like, that's one really nice thing Toy Story 5 also brings, is that unique art style to the playtime scenes, which kind of conveys, like, Bonnie's imagination. Like, I love that they did this, and it's like, you could argue, like, why now? But, like, nah, you just do it. It's cool.
I don't think it's any different from the extension of Toy Story 3 finally making like cool badass action scenes. Now it's kind of from the perspective of like these like eccentric little girls, and so they're all like bubbly and like silly, but they're like still absurd, where like the Reds will come crashing in and things like that. So I thought it was great.
Yeah. I do want to point out, I quite like the fact that Blaze appears to be older than Bonnie as well. Yet she likes playing with toys. The idea is like, it's not that you're outgrowing them, it's that you're not finding your people. And then when
I think it's also a growth spurt thing. I think it's also supposed to be like a growth spurt thing, where like, again, it's always the thing of like, girls mature faster than boys. Like they have like these little growth spurts. So I think she is supposed to be like probably like 9 or 10, like not too much older than Bonnie.
I think she's meant to be 9, so she's 1 year older than Bonnie is in this one, because Bonnie's 8 this time, and you can see that her model has been updated for that. Bonnie got a new model before Sonic.
Yeah, but for Blaze, I was like, is she like a teenager? But then I remembered again the idea. Which I thought was a really cool thing. They're trying to show that like even like little girls at her age, like they can look much older. It's like, but actually Bonnie is within her friend range, you know? And they can still like, she can still like kind of look more mature and like taller and stuff, but then still also like be a lot like younger at heart and stuff like that. So I just thought that was just like a fun visual idea they went for. Cause I was like, why is this teenager hanging out with Bonnie? And I was like, oh wait, fuck, she's supposed to be like 9. So
there's another thing I was kind of thinking as well. But I lost because brain fog is my mortal enemy. Like it seems.
Did you ever watch Futurama?
Yeah,
I do love that Jessie gets her luck of the Friarish moment, where
right.
I thought that,
yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Is that scene?
Go for it.
Yes, right. So we talked about how a lot of people crave rhyming themes, but this found a way to give Jessie closure, and it found a way to close that side of the book in a way that was tasteful, it wasn't low-hanging fruit, and was frankly beautiful. Like, really moving, was just Jessie learning that Emily named her daughter after her. That is absolutely beautiful, and so much more beautiful than them just meeting again or her passing her on. The idea that she meant that much to Emily, that she named her daughter after her favorite toy, is such a beautiful sentiment. And that Jessie gets
by the way,
to...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, she needed this. She just needed this.
Yeah, and I just want to say to anyone who would name their favorite their kid after like a toy they had, think of how many people, including probably you, would name your kid after a video game character you like, and it's the same sentiment.
Yeah, Sonic fans, don't fucking tell me you haven't thought about it. You probably call your kid Blaze.
Oh yeah, so like the idea of like, especially again, we have to remember that she's before Andy's generation, so like even way before like, you know, that kind of thing. So like the idea that your prized possession, which was this Jessie doll, and then you have a daughter, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna name you Jessie. Like that just feels very real, you know. So
definitely.
And again, the way that ties into parenthood, the idea of like, you know what, you know, technology's here. And it seems like it's making, you know, kids grow up faster and all these things, and they're not getting to be imaginative and all that stuff. And they still can be, and they still can use technology in ways to bring them closer to people. But as far as being a parent, the idea of like, maybe I'll have less time to be that anchor where I'm kind of the center of their world, right? Like, you know, when you're a parent and your kid just wants to play with you or all that kind of stuff. Now they have their iPads. Now they're at, you know, dinners or whatever, and they're on their iPad. And again, I really like that they do make it clear, though, that isn't healthy when they go to get ice cream. And then the mom's like, hey, can we put that down for a sec? Talk to me. Like, I'm going to help you. I'm your mom.
I saw someone say, like, oh, but the movie didn't do anything to acknowledge, like, the actual brain rot problem, and it didn't make any, like, it didn't showcase how, like, parents can be, like, neglectful and stuff of their kids. I was like, oh my fucking god, it's so obviously, like, in the subtext. Like...
Well, it's also just in the movie. Like, she literally just has her, like, she's like, hey... You know, you can talk to me about this. You don't need to talk to Lilypad or hold it inside. You can talk to me.
But and then at the end of the movie, when they scream it at you, like you're seeing that Bonnie is using tech and using it too much, and you're miserable. Do you need the film to literally turn around and say, "Hey, parents, think about that"? Like, no.
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, the way they use the tech is that they take a selfie together. Which again, that is like the value of like having like just even a phone, right? You know, like a kid having like you could. I think what I like about this movie is that you could. Like beyond everything else, is that you could technically make this movie at a few other periods in time. For example, getting like a flip phone and then making a movie about how like a toy sees like their kids always on their phone and they're texting people and it's like, oh, they don't want to play with me anymore. And then
they
realizing
done this with like games consoles decades ago.
And yeah, you could have done it with games consoles. Yeah,
I appreciate that they waited for something as nuanced as tech to do that story, because like if you do it about games, like games and toys, they have a lot in common, I think. Like they are there for fun. And, like, a lot of games, unless you're doing, like, the online thing, like, you know, you're still kind of using your mind. You're still kind of using your imagination. You're still engaging something, you know? You're still getting immersed and having an experience and stuff. Whereas, like, brain rot and doom scrolling and just scrolling through little shitty TikToks where characters are doing sensory dances is just, what's it good for? Like, so I'm glad that that was what they decided to tackle, rather than doing video games, say, like, a decade or so earlier. In fact, Toy Story's been pretty pro-video game, because, I mean, like, look at Toy Story 2, like, with Rex wanting to defeat Zurg.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, games are also seen as like a form of expression. And again, the way they kind of land is like technologies can be tools in the sense of like, yeah, like they bring people together. You should not be glued to your screen. But there's nothing wrong with like playing a game, but the game should then lead you to want to meeting those people in real life to hang out or whatever, you know. Which is really, really, really cool and really, I don't know, just really sweet and really endearing. And again, I love the moment where Jessie says like, not only do we have to be there for the time we were there, but we also have to believe in ourselves that we did enough, if that makes sense. So it's like, to the parents watching, it's like, okay, maybe you feel like you're not going to have much time with your kid, whether that's through technology or just them growing up in general. But not only should you be there for them, but you have to believe in yourself that you did do what was right and you instilled those values and trust in that. And then you watch that as your kids bring that to life. Because at the end of the movie, Bonnie has to be the one to step out and reach out to Blaze and be like, actually, I do kind of like that toy. And, you know, if you want to play, like she has to make that decision. And she does that through not only the toys behind the scenes helping out and getting her the tools to do that, giving her the tools as a parent would, right? But then her literal parent is like, hey, I want you to know if you are going through these problems, you should tell me about it and we should discuss it and engage with it as a family, right? So yeah, so the movie is, I don't know, it's just very, very thoughtful and sweet and kind, and it doesn't try to bite off too much than it can chew with the idea of technology. It chooses its target about what technology it doesn't like. And it's just very endearing. And also just the idea of the lily pad. I think it's just such a clever way to have, like, because it's kind of like a baby iPad is sort of the idea, where it connects to all these.
Yeah, like a leap pad. I also just wanted to say, I've been doing nothing but playing this game like the kind of kid that, like, tortured ants in childhood. Not that I ever did that, because, like, no, but, like, I'm playing this game like someone that would do that. I'm just beating up villagers, and the game's fucking rewarding me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I did in Jak 2. I just killed everybody. So.
I just love that the game's rewarding me for it. It's giving me achievements, it's giving me, like, stuff. Like, that's crazy.
Next Toy Story can tackle that. Violence in video games.
Yeah, or maybe just, like, revisit the Sid storyline and, like, have Woody be like, I'm sorry, Sid, about what happened. I'm really sorry.
And then he tells him, instead of so play nice, he says, stay nice, Sid. Stay nice. And then he's like, holy
nice. And then Sid and Andy are actually, like, roommates and, like, they're best buds.
That would be a funny B-plot, where we just cut to Andy and Sid, and they're just fucking around.
No, literally, give me Andy's college years, his stoner years, and, like, reveal that, like, Woody and the gang have, like, a secret RC car that they take to go to these parties, and what they witness is not the Andy they once knew. I'm just describing a robot chicken short at this point.
Indeed.
Then again, the idea of like the toys just all getting drunk and shit is really funny. Can they drink? Yeah. Can they actually drink anything? Like, would that fuck them up?
I mean, clearly they can do a lot of things they shouldn't be able to do because it's a cartoon. So.
Like, how does aging work? Because, like, presumably, like, Jesse is from the 60s, right? Like, or something. Like, no, not even 60s, probably earlier than that. Like if toys do have immortality, like, is she gonna die? Is Woody gonna die?
No, I think they're all immortal. I think that's the idea. I mean, again, you're not supposed to think about a lot of it. You're not supposed to think about a lot of this shit because there is a lot of horrible, horrible implications if a lot of these toys are sentient. So.
Toy Story has done a good job at, like, brushing things under the rug in the past. I will say, I like that Toy Story 5 finally answered why Buzz Lightyear would drop when, like, Andy's coming, and that it's just like an
it's just built into him.
But I also like how this enriches Toy Story 1, because Woody must have been really fucking angry to break character around Sid.
Oh yeah, and again, that's one of those things where I think it's funny to play loosey-goosey with. I don't care. I mean, again, if this is a world where, like, these toys can come to life, the toy apocalypse would have happened by now, some fucking weird shit. But, like, it is just understood the toys do not fuck with humans. But I mean, this is one of the most unanswered questions, right? In the first movie, Woody says, okay, to do what we're about to do to Sid, we're going to have to break a few rules. What the fuck does that mean?
So is it a law? Like, do they have to do that?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What do the toys know, then, in that case? Like, what do they know about our, like, society that we should?
And it's like, again, don't worry about it. Don't think about it in a good way. Like, that's what makes it funny and whimsical and silly. That is what allows it to be like a toy can fucking fly. That's where you get, I love the joke in this movie where they're riding the horses and then they're like, car, and like, presumably that car
and they just have to drop, and like, the person doesn't even question it. Like,
yeah, doesn't even question it. Yeah, or they're like, okay,
it's like
we're
the
gonna have to
traffic
charge for this house.
In Toy Story 2.
It's very funny. Yeah.
I liked the horses, like how Buzz had like a really sparkly, like, bougie pony. Jesse obviously has Bullseye, and it was, honest to God, it was actually nice for Bullseye to get a little spotlight, because, you know, like...
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he had nothing to do in 4, so it was actually nice to see Bullseye. Like, I love Bullseye. I mean, he's a dog, basically. Like, you know, sure, he's a horse, but horses are dogs. Like, you know, all animals are dogs if you're brave enough. Like... He's great.
Well, that's how animated movies typically feature them, or especially like
no,
Maximus.
But to be fair,
from,
like I saw someone complaining that, like, in Toy Story 2, Bullseye's characterized more like a horse, while in Toy Story 3, he's more of a dog. But I'm like, have you met a horse? Have you met an animal? They're all just dogs, dude. Like,
I do I don't care, but yeah.
If an animal loves their human, they're basically a dog. Like, horses can be every bit as affectionate and silly as dogs. Not to say that I've got extensive experience with horses. I sure as hell haven't. But I do like to pet them when I see them.
There you go.
I like how big they are as well. It makes me feel really impressive, because I'm just a little guy. So, like, me stood next to a horse just gives me the ultimate contrast. It just makes me feel badass, you know? And horses are an inherently manly thing, to be honest. It's funny, because, like, generally, like, horses and horse toys are associated with, like, little girl interest, but I think horses... I mean, the Barbie movie fucking made it clear. Horses are a manly interest. Like, we need to reclaim horses.
Good night, everybody. The end.
That's the second worst thing I will say today.
Reclaim the horses.
Look, us men don't have enough. We need horses, man. We need them back.
No, give them back. But yeah, I mean, did you have anything else to say about Toy Story 5? I mean, obviously it's fresh, so like it'll have to ruminate a little longer. But no, I really like that movie. So
I mean, every Toy Story movie is the worst Toy Story movie until it's had long enough for me to gain that same amount of love for it. So, like, I'm not gonna say I love Toy Story 5 as much as all the others yet, and that includes 4. But I think I can. I think I can. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it's every bit the same 10 out of 10 as the others. But it's just, the newest Toy Story movie will always be, like, the least favorite until it's had time to settle. Especially when we've got one that is this unique. There are a few more traditions that have been broken that I do want to quickly talk about, actually. One of which, I've heard people have been disappointed that there's no Randy Newman vocals in this one. This isn't actually the first time that's happened, but it is the first time that You've Got a Friend in Me hasn't been sung in a lyrical form. Like, Toy Story 2 did not have Randy Newman drop any lyrics on any of the songs either. However, I also think it's fitting that they didn't have a Randy Newman song or You've Got a Friend in Me actually play this time.
Yeah, that's a Jesse
that is
movie.
Woody's. That's Woody's. Like, it plays the leitmotif when Woody appears. And that's a great way to use it. And I think I Knew It, I Knew You by Taylor Swift is a great song. It's great for Jesse. It's very uplifting. And it gives Jesse a new kind of defining song. Because we had When Somebody Loved Me. Well, that's a sad fucking song, isn't it? Like, you know? So I Knew It, I Knew You is kind of a lovely theme for, like, Jessie and her movie. It does make me wonder, could we potentially have more movies with Jessie as the focus? Or is this kind of her story wrapped up? Like, is there further we can go with Jessie? Or will she eventually have to go the way of Woody and, you know, kind of become more of a background element? Or just be kind of the authority of the room, I guess. I don't know, but, like...
I just know I need a Buzz movie.
You have one. I'm excited, though, for Toy Story, the prospect of a Toy Story 6, and that's saying something, because I was wary for Toy Story 5 and 4, like, but I think 5 has an ending that feels like it has a better foundation for more. Like, it doesn't do the big, oh, fuck, you know, like, was that the right way to describe emotions? Like, it doesn't do the big... Goodbye, farewell, oh my goodness, oh, Woody, no! Like, it doesn't do that. I even like that Woody's goodbye in this movie is quite, like, low-key. He's just like, he's off. He'll be back later, like...
Oh yeah, no, it has a very life goes on feeling to it rather than a finality. And again, I think Andrew Stanton, I think he directed this one, or wrote it, or whatever it was, but I think he had mentioned in an interview, he was like, yeah, I'd like to give Bonnie her trilogy, so I would like her to have a finale. And I do hope if they do that, that they age her up. Because again, it was very funny. Someone pointed out, like, in the time from Toy Story 1 to 3, you know, Andy grew up kind of like pretty consistently along with like whoever would have been growing up with it. Whereas Bonnie, it's been like this, like the same amount of time, if not longer, since 3 to this one, and she's like the same age basically. She's like a year older.
What's going to be interesting is if they do, like, if Toy Story 6 is basically Toy Story 3 too, and like Bonnie's going to have her little moment of passing the little fuckers on. It does make me wonder, would it feel kind of almost silly to have another set of movies after that one? Or would it be really fucking interesting to see just, like, some of these new toys move into a new room, minus, like, some of the major players who now serve roles more just kind of in the greater world of Toy Story? Like, I don't know. I feel like you will inevitably have to wind down on Buzz and Woody, and that's kind of almost too sad to think about, but, like, I mean, it's not like Toy Story 5 didn't do just that and turn out to be a really beautiful movie, so, like, it...
I mean, I just figured at this point they're going to treat Toy Story like it's a generational thing, and they're just going to keep making it until the world ends.
Yeah, like a forever franchise. And, like, I mean, as long as they're good, you know, like, when we get a bad Toy Story movie, then I'll complain. All I want is good movies. Like, that's literally all I want. So, like, keep doing that and I'm happy. Keep delivering these incredible movies. Although I will say, when it comes to Toy Story, I don't think just good would be enough at this point. Like, they've got such a pedigree down. 5 movies. And, like, I would debate that all of them are a 10 out of 10. But you know what? Alright, fine. Alright. I'll try for 1 second to be an objective bastard. No, they're still amazing. Like, the worst one is still like an 8. Like...
Oh, yeah. No, I think they're all great movies. So, yeah, Toy Story is going to go on forever as long as Disney exists. But if they're going to make them, I would just appreciate if they just continue to make them good, you know?
I will say there's something Tom Hanks said today. I don't know if you've seen this. Tom Hanks was saying in the future they could maybe use tech to have him continue to voice Woody even after he's finished. And I said, shut the fuck up. You're the old bald cowboy. Just stick to being the old bald cowboy and stay quiet on tech.
Oh, yeah. He wants AI. They all want AI.
They all do.
But yeah. And again, I mean, yeah. If they have to exist, make them good. Make them really cool lessons and ideas for new generations and how all that connects. But yeah, no. I mean, if it's good, it's good, and that's always my philosophy. And I think these are very good. So
you know what? I can kind of a little bit more understand the issues a little bit more, but like I still don't think it's a bad movie by any stretches. Incredibles 2. Like, Incredibles 2, I still think is a great movie, but I'm also just like, is that really the best you could come up with after all that time?
Oh, I think the movie's fucking lame.
I don't know. I thought it still had all the style I liked about Incredibles 1, but it's definitely a lesser movie, like, unquestionably.
Mel just sounds so old.
I do want Incredibles 3, though, because look, I did like Incredibles 2, but I do feel like you kind of got to end bigger than that. Like,
no, Incredibles 2 is fucking lame. It's a lame finale. It's lame. Did
you like Incredibles 1?
What's that?
Did you like Incredibles 1?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the best Pixar movie.
So then how would you like an Incredibles 3 to make up for an Incredibles 2?
I mean, they're gonna make it, so I have to deal with it. So.
I'm looking for... No, it needs to happen. We need a really great Incredibles sequel. We need a villain that is as good as Sin. It's weird, actually, how I, like, try to be a clever dude and stuff, but the second I get talking about Pixar, it's like, give me this sequel, yeah, and then they could do this. I turn into the most basic bitch when it comes to Pixar.
It's because they make good movies. They treat you, they guide you to being a kid. And a good consumer. So, yeah. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Consumer Pixar. Keep up the good movies. There's one thing I do want to quickly touch upon before we dip out, though, because I did say we'd be talking about all the theatrical Toy Story releases, and I'm counting this, and I'm not going to go on it for long, because I don't actually think there's that much to talk about. I liked Lightyear, okay? I just liked it, all right? I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool movie. It was a bit of pulpy, old-school sci-fi space shit, and I liked it. I get that it... You know, maybe it would have been better if it was more 90s and, like, flashy and stuff. I get that. Like, if this was a movie that released when, you know, Andy was a kid. I think the fucking bit where, like, this is the movie Andy saw was stupid. I like to think, now, Andy saw Buzz Lightyear Star Command, and this is a reboot that came out later. That's kind of how I see it. But I'm still able to enjoy the film. None of the side cast are as memorable as any of the characters for the Toy Story films. I'm not going to claim that. No, it's not as good as any of the Toy Story films. I just thought it was kind of a neat little sci-fi bit. I like the whole, like, time travel thing and Buzz kind of coming back to the planet to find all these people he cares about are, like, super fucking old and, like, in some cases dead. I thought the Zurg twist was fine. It's a reimagining. Fuck it. He doesn't have to be his father. I always took that as a throwaway line anyway. I don't think he was his father in Buzz Lightyear Star Command either. Oh, yeah, the Zurg cameo in Toy Story 5. That was cool.
Yes. I did not see the movie, so I have no opinion.
Oh, shit. I think
so.
It does feel like quite a 2010s approach to, like, a Buzz Lightyear remake. And I can understand why people might not like that. But I do like it as a piece of kind of mature, kind of hard sci-fi, like, quite grounded. I think, like, people probably wanted, like, the space opera adventures of, like, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. But what they actually got was more like a 60s sci-fi movie. It was like, we're marooned on a planet. What will we do? You know, like that kind of thing.
I just thought it looks boring visually. It just looks gray and dull and boring. So I wasn't interested.
I don't think the art direction is as exciting as a Buzz Lightyear movie could have been, I'll say that much. But I did think the Star Command suits and stuff were nicely realized.
Well, there you go.
But Taika Waititi's in it, so I suppose, yeah, it is the worst in the Toy Story franchise.
You got me.
All right. Well, I think we're about covered then, right? Like, I thought this would be a fun opportunity to just chat fucking Toy Story, you know? Like, it's a good movie, good series.
Well, it went on for a long time, I'm pretty sure. Like 3 hours.
That's what happens when you've got lots and lots of thematic richness and cool shit to talk about. Like, how long did we talk just talking about, like, how funny it is that Woody is such a fucking idiot in Toy Story 1?
Oh, yeah. Great movies. Yeah, if they're gonna keep making them, fucking make them good. So I'm glad I'm glad that it seems very clear that they treat their pinnacle franchise with respect. You know, if they're gonna have to do it, they do it well. So
I remember also, like, it's funny, like, mentioning, like, how, you know, kids being ashamed of, you know, being kids and stuff. I used to kind of think back to, like, you know, when I was a young'un, and, like, how we'd kind of maybe, like, me and my friends would lie about the movie we saw, say we went to see something a bit more adult, but in actuality we went to see, like, an animated film and stuff. We were teenagers, and, you know, there's a lot of, like, mockery and stuff, and there's a lot of, like, repression that comes with that. I was going into the cinema with my friend to see Toy Story 5, and I just saw this big group of these big guys and stuff all going to see Scary Movie, the new one, and I was like, this time I'm not gonna lie about what I saw. I did not see Scary Movie. It looks shit. I saw Toy Story 5, and I'm not ever going to be ashamed. But then again, those guys shouldn't be ashamed of watching what they want to watch either. You know, different strokes for different folks. Takes a lot to make a world.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I just go. I watch movies alone, and why wouldn't you? You get all the popcorn. So
here's the thing. I watch movies with friends and assert that the popcorn is mine.
There you go.
I don't share these things. There was always, like, my pet peeve. It's like, shall we go out tonight? I was like, oh, okay, yeah, what should we do? It's like, oh, we could go get some tapas to share. It's like, or I could get some tapas and you could get some tapas, and we don't worry about the whole sharing thing.
Indeed.
I'm not a sharer. I mean,
Fair.
If you have no food and you need food, fine. Have a little bit of my food. But I'm not happy about it, you know? You gotta go. I don't want you taking my popcorn.
Indeed. But heck yeah.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Alrighty. How's the chat doing? You guys have been very well behaved while I've just been talking to someone that's not you the whole time. I like to think we've kind of been talking to the audience in a way. Like, I'd like to think that what we had to say was entertaining. I'm now just, you know, checking Toy Story 19 trailer. I'm just seeing on my YouTube homepage right now. Directed by Ben Stanton. Wow, coming summer 2055. All right, yeah, that'll about do it, I think. Any last words, Ian?
No, thanks for having me. It was a fun time.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?